correction and approval of records of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 3rd July 2025.
Honorable members, please order. Honorable members, let me first acknowledge the presence of cabinet ministers here with us. We acknowledge you and we thank you for your presence. Honorable members, the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 3rd July 2025 is before us for correction and approval. Can any honorable member please move that the said record of votes and proceedings be considered and approved? Honorable Member for Jimara.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I ask to move for the correction and approval of record of votes and proceedings of National Assembly sittings of Thursday, 3rd July 2025.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Jimara. Any seconder honorable members? Honorable Member for Fonyi Bondali.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to second the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Fonyi Bondali. It has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 3rd July 2025 be considered and approved. Honorable members, we all have copies of the said record of votes and proceedings, and as usual, we will look through it page by page, beginning with page 1, to be followed by your comments and observations. Page 1. Honorable members, we move to page 2. Honorable members, we now go to page 3. Honorable Member for Combo East.
Honorable Speaker, have my name reflected on the list of absentees without permission, and I think
yes, Honorable, yes, I can acknowledge that.
I took permission from you.
Yeah, Honorable members, Honorable number 58. Honorable Abdul Sow, should we move to those present with permission? Sorry, those absent with permission. Honorable members, we can now move to page 4. Honorable Member for Woolly East.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, just motion without notice on page 4, the paragraph on that is third line after 2025. Bill 2020
for the second one.
The second motion.
The second motion,
the third line after 2025, we should have to be committed. To be committed. To is missing there. The same happened at the top one as well. We should correct both.
Let's deal with one at a time.
Just a typo.
Honorable, can you read the whole paragraph?
The whole paragraph. At the invitation of Honorable Speaker, Honorable Padembo Sane, member for Fonyi Bondali, in accordance with Orders 53E and 68-2, moved a motion for the bill entitled Medicine and Related Products, Amendment Bill 2025, to be committed. I'm suggesting to be committed. The toe is missing.
Committed, does it make a difference? Be committed. Why repeat the word to again?
No, he moved a motion for the bill to be committed to, that's his proposal. For the bill to be committed to the committee of the whole house. Is that not the language?
Members, comments?
Putting the full language there. That's all.
You have no comments. We allow his amendment.
Okay. It's left to them. It's Nyanija English.
You have no comments. We will allow the proposed amendment. Honorable member for Lower Salem, you are saying something?
He said it's fine. Yeah, that's.
What is he saying? Are you saying no? What is no?
I said, Nyanija said no. And you said if there is no comment, let's continue. I said yes, let's continue.
Did you say anything?
No, I didn't say that. No. Honorable Speaker, the amendment proposed by the Honorable Member for Woolly East, I was trying to check the relevant clause in the standing order, how it is quoted there. But I think it's a minor thing. If it is okay with the Assembly, it's fine.
The proposal by the Honorable Member for Woolly East is that after 2025 on line 3, we put the word to before the word be, to be committed. Honorable Member for Woolly, can you continue?
Thank you. If you come to under the last paragraph, you have laying of papers. 1. Report of the FPAC on the 2020 accounts. I believe it's the audited accounts. Yes. Audited is missing there.
Indeed.
Yeah,
on the audited accounts of the government of the Gambia. Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Woolly East. Honorable members, we now move to page 5. Honorable members, we now move to page 6. Honorable Member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. At the end of the debate, at the invitation of the Honorable Speaker, Honorable Ali S. Dabo, Member for Brikama North, and Minority Leader, that is missing, and wherever it appears.
I think. Honorable members, for there to be consistency, why don't we just have a format where we will agree that wherever you talk about, for instance, majority leader, you talk about the member for Kantora, you say and majority leader. If you talk about the member for Brikama North, you say people with portfolios in the parliament, when you see it and then you add their portfolios. So that we will not be correcting here and there as this appear. Do we agree on that? Yes, I think we have that as a format. Member for Brikama North. Honorable members, any more on page 6? Yes, Honorable Member for Nyanija.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, motion without notice. The motion that was moved by Honorable Suleiman Saho. If you looked at the question put and agreed to under that, it said the report was adopted with amendments. And if you look at before the motion, the report was adopted. Question put and agreed to, and the report was adopted. So I think here it should say the motion was adopted, something like that. But the report was adopted, a motion came in later, and again it's saying that the report was adopted again with amendments. So it's double things. So there's something missing there.
Yeah, Honorable Member for Nyanija. Yeah, I think you are right. In fact, it's not the report, but it was the motion that was carried. So I think they will do the necessary amendments. Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyanija. Any more on page 6, Honorable Members? Honorable Members, we move to page 7. Honorable Members, we move to page 8. Honorable Members, we now move to page 9. Honorable Members, page 10. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceedings of the National Assembly sitting of Thursday, 3rd July 2025 be approved with amendments. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Clerk, may we proceed?
Bill, Standing Order 66, second reading of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, Promulgation Bill 2024 by the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
Honorable members will recall that the first reading of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia Promulgation Bill 2024 was done on Monday, 23rd December 2024, and today is appointed for the second reading in accordance with Standing Order 66-2. This bill, being a peculiar bill, the Assembly will be guided on procedural matters by provisions of the Supreme Law of the Land, that's the 1997 Constitution, specifically under paragraph 2B and 4B of section 226 of the 1997 Constitution. Section 26(1) reads, subject to the provisions of this section, an act of the National Assembly may alter this Constitution. And subsection 2B also reads, the bill is supported on the second and third readings by the votes of not less than 3/4 of all the members of the National Assembly. However, before allowing the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice to move the motion for the second reading, I wish to emphasize that this bill is prominent in the history of the Gambia, and in this Assembly in particular, given the fact that it is the second attempt in the Second Republic that we are witnessing tabling of a promulgation bill in the Assembly as evidenced in a normal functioning parliamentary democracy. Equally, I wish to stress that the bill shall follow the due process and procedure as laid down in section 226 of the 1997 Constitution. Section 226 of the 1997 Constitution is critically important, given the fact that the bill seeks to repeal the existing Constitution. Furthermore, as a legislature, we will also be required to follow the due procedures as provided for in the standing orders as far as government bills are concerned. That is Standing Orders 67 to 79. However, we must take note, as a matter of trite law, that the 1997 constitutional provisions shall always take precedence. Therefore, pursuant to Order 67 of the Standing Orders, I now invite the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice to move a motion for the second reading of the bill entitled The Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, Promulgation Bill 2024. Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move that the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia Promulgation Bill 2024 be read the second time. Honorable Speaker, this bill seeks to provide for the promulgation of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia 2024 and to repeal the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia 1997. Honorable Speaker and honorable members of the National Assembly, as I rise before you, distinguished Assembly, today, not merely as an Attorney General and Minister of Justice, but as a Gambian who shares in the collective aspirations for a stronger, more democratic republic that serves all our people with justice and dignity. The Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia Promulgation Bill 2024 now stands before us at this critical juncture. While I acknowledge that our honorable members are divided along political lines, I submit that constitutional reforms transcend partisan politics. It speaks to the very soul of our nation, our commitment to future generations of Gambians. We learned from the unfortunate experience of 2020 when this August Assembly voted against the previous constitutional bill, preventing it from proceeding to the third reading. The setback taught us valuable lessons about the importance of dialogue, compromise, and the willingness to engage constructively even amidst disagreements. No bill has ever been presented before this Assembly that is perfect, and there will be no bill that may be presented in the future that will also be perfect. This is not a flaw in our system. It is a fundamental feature of democratic lawmaking. The Constitution itself acknowledges this reality by providing mechanisms for amendments and reviews. Even the United States Constitution, revered worldwide, has been amended 27 times since its adoption. The 1997 Constitution that currently governs us has undergone numerous amendments to meet evolving needs. Perfection is not the standard we seek. Progress is. The process of lawmaking is fundamentally about consensus building, which does not mean unanimity all the time. Your standing orders deliberately provided for multiple stages precisely to allow for the refinement and improvement of legislations through dialogue and compromise. If you pass this bill at the second reading, it will proceed to consideration stage where the real work of negotiation and adjustments takes place. At this stage, honorable members, we'll have the opportunity to propose amendments to address the specific concerns, engage in detailed clause-by-clause review of the constitutional provisions, participate in committee deliberations where public input can be solicited and considered, negotiate compromises that reflect the diverse perspectives in this Honorable Assembly. The consideration stage is where negotiations and compromises can be made and the document can be adjusted. This is not the end of our deliberative process. It is the beginning of the most substantive phase where our collective wisdom can shape the final document. To vote against the second reading would be once again to deny ourselves and the Gambian people this opportunity for constructive engagement. It would mean that we have chosen to abandon the constitutional reform process rather than engage with it constructively. International experiences show us that successful constitutional reforms often require multiple rounds of negotiations and compromise. I appeal to every member of the Assembly to demonstrate the statesmanship that our people expect and deserve. The second reading is designed to debate the principles and merits of the bill, not its detailed content. That detailed scrutiny comes later at the consideration stage, where we can work together to address legitimate concerns and build a document that truly serves our nation. We are not being asked today to approve every provision of the Constitution. We are being asked to approve the principle that Gambia deserves a modern constitution that reflects our democratic aspirations and to commit ourselves to hard work of perfecting it through legislative processes. Honorable members, let us not repeat the mistake of 2020. Let us choose dialogue over division, engagement over abandonment, and progress over perfection. The process of lawmaking is about consensus building. Let us embrace this principle and move forward together. On these few notes, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you very much, Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Honorable members, any seconder? Honorable Member for Nyanija.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor, and I want to thank the Attorney General and Minister for Justice. I humbly rise to second motion. But again, Honorable Speaker, I'm standing on a 61-2, that is to impose time limit on each member debating to 10 minutes, starting in my humble self. 61-2.
Honorable Member for Nyanija, are you moving a motion or you are partaking in the second in the motion?
No. I think I have to withdraw. I have to withdraw that motion. It is not appropriate. A member of the ABC have to move that. No. Let me.
Honorable.
Yes, I think
you
somebody.
You can go ahead and second the motion.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I rise to second the motion and also wish to take part in the debate. The motion for ABC can come in later. I have the opportunity to talk as much as I can. So thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, what we are witnessing here today is historic, in the sense that it is a constitutional promulgation bill, a bill that seeks to amend and of course replace the existing 1997 constitution with a new constitution. Honorable Speaker, for the records, in 2020 or sometimes in 2019, if my records are right, this very parliament constituted the Constitutional Review Commission by an act of parliament, mandating the CRC to go throughout the length and breadth of the country, and of course even in the diaspora, to reach out to every Gambian, seek for their consent, and of course their opinion on us having a new constitution. So after all those engagements, the CRC come up with a draft, that is the 2020 draft, which was presented here in Parliament, and unfortunately it fails in the second reading. And the reason why it fails were highlighted. If anybody is interested to know why it was rejected, the reasons were fully highlighted by those who rejected it, and I was a part of it. And again, even if that same document came in that same format, Honorable Speaker, I, on behalf of the people of Nyanija, I will stand on those existing grounds and reject it again. But now, like the AG said, constitutional building process, it's far beyond party politics. It's far beyond that. That is the truth. The executive, that's the government of the day, have taken it upon themselves, with, of course, help from partners, and of course, development partners within and both within in the country, and of course outside, and of course civil societies, and even political parties, and even members of parliament, because I participated in a dialogue in my constituency with Upper Salum, whereas key opinion leaders and of course all the alcalos and the chiefs were gathered where we discussed the 2024 draft, where we highlighted the flaws and of course some of the issues that were the reasons why the 2020 was rejected in Parliament, which was very unfortunate, I have to say. So now, here we are. This Parliament is the one that mandated CRC to go and do the consultation, come up with a draft 2020. This is the same Parliament that rejected that constitution. The executive have taken it upon themselves to come again and bring us a bill. And this is the bill here before us. It is our sole mandate and our sole responsibility. There is nobody who will teach even a single member of parliament about the processes and procedure in parliament. We are all very aware with it because we are dealing with bills every day. Be it private members' bill, be it government bill. We know what it takes to pass a bill, and we know what are the different stages involved in passing a bill. This is the second reading. Generally, it's just a discourse on the general merits and principles of the bill. That is to say, whether this draft constitution, it's a need for the Gambian people or not. And there is nobody who wouldn't agree with me that the Gambia don't need a new constitution. Be it 2020 or be it 2019, be it 2030 or whatever, we need a new constitution. That is the fact. And everybody is talking about that. Even if you choose to oppose this today, you know that Gambia needs a constitution. Because we are talking of how many amendments that are made to the 1997 constitution. Numerous amendments. Be it in the political sphere, be it in the governance sphere, be it in whatever. So what we need is we need a new document. And the only way we can have a new document is bringing a constitutional promulgation bill here before Parliament. And let me tell you, be it today or tomorrow, Gambia have moved far beyond where we are, and we will have a constitution. And I urge all honorable members here. I was part of the fifth legislature. Unfortunately, we were not fortunate to have that legacy. Now it is time for us to have that legacy as a sixth legislature. And I'll be proud, super proud, that I represented the people of Nyanija and I was part of that process here. So it is an opportunity for all of us beyond party politics. I represent NRP here and others represent other political parties, likewise others. But this is far beyond party politics. In fact, at one time when I saw some consultant consulting some political parties, I said it's important you can consult political parties because political parties have representatives in parliament. But when it comes to bills in parliament, the right people to be consulted are members of parliament. Because we decide whether it will pass the first reading, second reading, or the third reading. But again, let us be mindful that we represent people. We represent people. And whatever that we said here, it should be reflective of the wish and aspiration of the Gambian people. And Honorable Speaker, I have to say again on record, when the 2020 draft was presented here, I received more than 50, nearly 100 international calls, local calls, and whatever. And now what I am seeing is people going on social media saying whatever that they want to say. We need our 2020 draft. Who will present a bill before Parliament in the same format and it's rejected here in Parliament? You want to bring it in the same format? Then it means you are not doing anything. You are not doing anything. I bring a bill here, word to word, A to Z. Parliament said, no, we don't want it. It's your responsibility to go and do the necessary changes based on the debates that was done in Parliament. And I think that's what the executive have done. If Parliament thinks that there is one or two things that are missing, it is our responsibility to restore it back. And we have the powers to do that. The standing orders are very clear, the process and procedures of bills from first reading to second reading and so on. We can do, there is nothing, and that is a common say here in Parliament, there is nothing Parliament cannot do without, it's only changing a man to a woman. We can do anything that we want here, because we represent the voice of the people. This is democracy. So let's make that make the best opportunity of that and make sure we write history. We write history in the positive way, not in the negative way. And to tell you that the executive have butchered this, there are so many things that are removed, there are so many things which you know that is supposed to be here in the 2020 draft, it was there and now it is not there. My friend, those are just political statements. Those are just political statements. Even if the executive bring a single clause here, if we want to add 99 clauses, we will add it there. It is our responsibility, it is our soul. Let us not try to give our powers to somebody else, whereas our powers are within us. We are guided by the Constitution and for the standing orders. Others are telling me it is time or so on and so on. But I wanted to move the motion to limit the time. Unfortunately, I was even trying to put myself in a problem because I have the whole time to talk. If I want, I can talk until evening. But Honorable Speaker, honestly, I won't do that because the message is very clear, it's very precise. Listening to the AG, honestly, that melts my heart. That statement only melts my heart. Honorable Speaker, what we want, what every Gambian wants, especially on politics, is the issue of, there's a term limit. The issue of absolute majority. The issue of citizenship. The issue of human rights. You name it, we can't have it all perfect. But I can guarantee you all those things are well captured here. If you want us to go back 1997, there are countries which are moving, and we should move, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, on those grounds, again, I want to emphasize, and again re-emphasize, let us not limit our powers where they are necessary. Let us not limit our powers where they are necessary. It is our show, and let's make sure we play our show very well. Let us not be guided by politics. Let us not be guided by outside sentiments. And of course, let us not be guided by Facebook warriors who think that they know everything. I have been to school, you have been to school, somebody else has been to school. And parliament and parliamentary process and procedure, we are the masters of our own. Let nobody decide to guide us or direct us on whatever. This is our house. We are the elected representatives. We are respected people. That's why we are called honorable members. Not everybody is called honorable member outside. So let us play our show and make sure we do the needful. Honorable Speaker, on those grounds, Honorable Speaker, again, I beg on the indulgence of all honorable members, let us do the needful, give this bill a chance for it to sail through the second reading. It will be referred to a committee, whereas constructive dialogue and constructive consultation can be done, whereas every Gambian input if we want, because as I said, parliament and parliamentary procedures are not dictated or directed by anybody. It is our own standing orders and the Constitution that does so. So, Honorable Speaker, on those grounds, I rise to second again the motion. And again, beg on you to please let's support the second reading. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyanija. In accordance with Order 67.1 of the Standing Orders, I will now open the floor for debate on the general merits and the principles of the bill. Honorable members, on the general merits and principle of the bill. Any honorable member who wishes to partake in the debate may now do so. But before giving any honorable member the floor, I wish to state that after the debate on the general merits and principles of the bill, a vote shall be taken for the bill to be read a second time as required by Section 2262B and 4B of the 1997 Constitution. A vote of not less than 3/4 of all members is required before the bill can proceed to the next stage of the process. Honorable members should note that. Honorable members, I now invite the honorable member for Opanyomi to take the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I will also join my colleagues, Honorable Member for Nyanija, to appeal to all the honorable members of this House to kindly support the draft Constitution Promulgation Bill 2024.
Honorable members, please, if you want to discuss, you can just step outside and talk about it and let others listen, please.
Honorable Speaker, thank you. Honorable Speaker, I just want to join my colleagues that has just seconded the motion, honorable member for Nyanija, to urge all the honorable members of this August Assembly to kindly support the Constitution Promulgation Bill 2024. And I equally want to thank the Honorable Minister for laying this important bill before this House. Honorable Speaker, this bill has progressive clauses. Gambia Constitution 1997 did not have term limit, but this particular Constitution promulgation bill have a term limit. That alone should have made us members of this assembly to kindly support this particular bill. It doesn't have 50+1. This particular draft constitution is urging us to move from simple majority to absolute majority. Honorable Speaker, the honorable members of this House, I don't think we have any other option except to support this particular bill. And I thank you so much for giving me the floor, and I urge all the honorable members to kindly support it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Upper Nyumi. I now invite the Honorable Member for Nyamina West. Nyamina West?
He goes out.
I now invite the Honorable Member for Busumbala.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for tabling this constitutional promulgation bill before this Honorable House. Honorable Speaker, it's high time we be selfless leaders, not to be selfish leaders. It's high time leaders put their people first. If you look at this constitution, in 2020 or 2018 or 2019, I would say the most objective reason why Gambian comes together and vote massively for 2016 election is because they don't have hope for the 1997 constitution. That's the truth. The 1997 constitution have gone through several amendments just to fit for the purpose of dictatorial tendencies that was in existence in this country. That is the fact. If people come together and said, we need to put a stop to this constitutions and now vote for a president whose primary objective is to champion reforms. Among those reforms, constitution is key. Even the president himself, when he was a candidate, his campaign message is centered on the constitution that is in existence is bad. When I came, I'm going to make sure that we amended that constitution. And that was what is running in his mind at the time. Even whereas he was in the office, that was his primary focus at that material time. What have changed? When he sanctioned through Parliament to establish a constitutional review commission, and that attract people of capacity, integrity, to go all over this country and outside jurisdiction of this country, to sound the opinion of all sectors and sections of Gambian people, and they have given us their views and aspirations as to how they should be governed. And that is the 2020 draft. That draft was presented in this parliament. What happened? Parliamentarians who chooses to be selfless and not, who chooses to be selfless people voted against that constitution. Selfish people voted against that constitution. No, don't laugh. You know, when leaders choose to put their people last, that is the problem. We should always put our people first. Now that, when that happened, the executive went and sit at their comfort zone and produced a document. And in that document, there are so many...
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
By Lower Salum?
No, all you do.
Huh?
All you do.
Who and who?
Lower Salum, okay.
Lower Salum and, okay, let's hear your Lower Salum.
Orders 29, 4. Content of speech. 4. It shall out of order the use of offensive language, offensive and insulting language about members of assembly. Honorable Speaker, the member for Bosumbala, the word selfishness, I think it's not a decorum language for a National Assembly to use for his own parliamentarians. I think you can use other language whereby you can use all this language on your own fellow members. Because using the language, that also will distract the debate of our parliament. Because whenever you speak, you sit down, others will take the floor, and then the assembly will be in a chaos. I think it's good also, your own members of parliament, you regard them with respect that is anchored to them. I think, yes. Because if that doesn't do so, wait, we are going to disregard this assembly. Because the time that we were debating the 2020 draft constitution, I was part of it. Who rejected based on reasons?
Honorable,
if you want to reject it based on your reasons.
Honorable member for Lower Salum, I think you have just put across your point of order. And that's the use of the word selfish. Am I right? Selfish. And I was just inquiring whether abusive language was actually interpreted on the standing orders. It was not. And I tried to borrow from the best parliamentary practices to know whether use of word selfish would be termed as insulting. I think your argument is on the word selfish. Am I right? Yeah, just had some.
Honorable
I
Speaker,
will not.
Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
Point of order. If you have ruled on the previous order, I'm coming with a point of order.
Andre, I am ruling on this particular point of order made by the honorable member for Lower Salum. I don't want to create a situation where parliamentarians will not be able to freely express their intent or what they mean. To call somebody selfish for a behavior under the circumstances, especially in a parliament, on the parliamentary floor, I would not call it as insulting.
Point of order, Speaker.
Thank you very
Speaker,
much,
point of order.
Speaker.
I will now.
Speaker, point of order.
Honorable members.
No.
Honorable members.
No.
I will now. Honorable members, please. Honorable members. Honorable, I will shout your name and your constituency for ill behavior, please. So that is the ruling on that. You said somebody is like honorable majority and member for control and majority. You have another point of order?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I'm rising on order 67. Second reading, a motion been moved that a bill be read a second time. The general merits and principles of the bill may be debated. So please, let's restrict our intervention on the general merits and principle, not to quote history of past incident. Thank you.
Honorable members, the relevant clause is appropriate, and I think I emphasized it, that you have to debate based on the merits and the principles of the bill. So, Honorable Member for Busumbala, you can continue, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I believe fellow parliamentarians should not take this as an issue. Being given the selfless leader and selfish leader in this context is to the benefit of Gambian people, the people that you and I represent in this parliament. I believe we should not be selfish in the essence that we should give them their due. And their due and their views were captured in 2020 draft. That is what I mean. That being the case, if that draft has been presented before parliamentarians, I think we should uphold that, but not to go and exchange that with a view primarily made to advance and validate a political agenda of any chief political actor in this country. We cannot do that. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the clear comparison about 2020 draft, we would say this represents the people, because the constitutional provision, the commission that was established, it was established by the lawmakers here. And they went around, sound the opinion of Gambian people as to how they should be governed. And that has been reduced to a write-up and called 2020 draft. But looking at 2024 draft, where does it come from? Because primarily we were concentrating on salient issues that are timed to be contentious issues. The reason why 2020 was rejected, parliamentarians here, we met at a function. We were discussing about that. It's about 15 points, 15 clauses or so. We wanted to build a consensus on those issues so that when the draft is presented back to the parliament, we'll compromise. As we all know, there is no perfect document. But we cannot be talking about that, having meetings about that, having workshops on that, and all of a sudden, we have seen another constitution that has been gazetted, which has fundamentally changed everything in the old 2020 draft. Have respect for parliamentarians, dialogue with them, and tell them this is what we intend to do. But you cannot waste our time with good luck, Jonathan. You cannot waste our time with other eminent persons. Take us at the hotels. Tell us, let's build a consensus on the issues that are resultant of the rejection of that constitution. We have a unanimous agreement on that, then it will be reintroduced, and we will see what to do. And to be honest, all the opposition MPs are ready for dialogue because this is our country. We all agreed, we effected change in 2016 because primarily we believe the Constitution has gone so many changes. It can only advance dictatorship in this country. Now, if you change that, even provision or clauses that are meant to, advance and uphold, promote transparency and accountability, we are all removed. Let's come to leadership and integrity. Chapter 5 of the draft that has been included in the 2020 draft because the citizen, people of this country, felt that their leaders should be accountable. Their leaders should be people with impeccable characters. Their leaders should be at their best behaviors. That is their view. That is what they want. But you say no, you can be a leader and act anyhow, bring public embarrassment at any time, and you cannot be accounted for it. My friend, when we are ready to lead, we should lead with integrity. When you are ready to lead, you should lead having this at the back of your mind that accountability should be your second name. If you don't want to abide by with those principles, go and sit down. Then public office is not for you. And when you come, a very progressive provisions in 2020 draft that the citizens of this country said, we want our ministers to be accountable. We want our ministers to be confirmed when they are to be, take up that important positions of our country. We want National Assembly members to be involved in the appointment of ministers. How? The president, of course, is the executive head of the state. He will nominate. The minister will come and appear before us here so that Gambian people will know who is the Minister of Justice, what are his capabilities, his qualification, his wherewithals to advance the justice system of this country. You say no. Who is the Minister of Interior, Internal Security? His character, whether is not an issue. All these things will be a question before this parliament here. And every sector in this country have their representative in this house. You want to deny us with that opportunity? You want to deny Gambian people to know who should be their Minister of Interior? Of course they should know. So, the same provision in the 2020 draft is talking about at least a high school graduate. Tertiary institution qualification should be with somebody who's to be appointed as a minister. But in comparison with this one, they are saying even a high school graduate, secondary school leaver. My friend is there. My friend, if you want to be a head or a minister of the whole ministry, at least you should be in a position to know something about that ministry. Your qualification, you must have a key competence in that ministry, so that your subordinate will not see you as someone who is just a carryover. There are so many things we have to talk about. If you look at the current book, I will not call it a draft, the current book, if you look at it, it virtually, review the 2020 people's draft. On that note, I will repeat, if you want to be a leader, be a selfless leader. Don't be a selfish leader. On that few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I submit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Busumbala. I now invite the Honorable Member for Nyani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, it's an indeed pleasure for me to stand and speak on behalf of the people of Nyani. Honorable Speaker, looking at the 1997 Constitution today, the 1997 Constitution came into effect on the 16th January 1997. And if you look at that date to today, is 28 years, 5 months, and 21 days. And this, Honorable Speaker, looking at the demands and aspirations of the citizens of the Gambia, there is a high need for a new constitution for this country. Honorable Speaker, as made mention by one of the speakers, that no document is perfect. We don't expect the 2024 draft constitution to come in its ready-made form. Then I don't think if there will be any need for the existence of this parliament. Honorable Speaker, as mentioned by the President in the SUNA, let us rise above party politics and put the Gambian first, the Gambian people first. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the 1997 Constitution that we have been using for 28 days, 5 months, and 21 days, we cannot say that this Constitution has come in its original form. Because if you look at the amendments of the Constitution, at least for 49 to 52 individual provisions has been amended in this Constitution. So that shows us that the Constitution does not come in its original form. The same to us. We can also look at this Constitution, even if it's going to be at committee level, whereby we can look at the areas that we feel that there is need for adjustment, we adjust those areas. The areas that we feel that there is need for us to leave those areas, we decided to leave those areas there. Honorable Speaker, if you look at on media and also individual advocacy when it comes to term limit, often when you hear others saying that the president should not go in for third term, if we want to prove our words and we really mean what we are saying, then we must do away with this authoritative constitution. Because there is no term limit in this constitution. As long as there is no term limit in this constitution, I don't think we can stand anywhere and say that there is no need for the president to contest on this particular area or not. If we need that, we must have to graduate from this. And also, if you look at when it comes to the majority, that is 50+1, that we have been advocating for, it is embedded in this document. We can have 50 plus 1. As opposed to in the 1997 Constitution, where you know that even if you lead by one vote, you can become the president or whatsoever position that you are looking for. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of my people, in supporting a particular constitution, there are things that we looked at. There are key issues that we looked at in supporting a constitution. That is, the first one there is the structure of government, separation of powers, and checks and balances. And if you look at here, that one is clearly stated in this draft constitution. If you go to chapter 5, you can see check and balances there. Federalism versus unitary system. Is the power, like if you look at federalism versus the unitary system, it is also embedded in this document. And also the distribution of powers. Is power distributed between the central government and also the local government? Those are also issues that we also need to look at in a constitution. And also, if you look at the fundamental rights of an individual, it's also very key in adopting a constitution. You look at the democratic principles and representation. You also look at the rule of law, which is the supremacy or the predominance of the law over everybody, both the ruler and the ruled. And also the amendment procedures. And also, where the Constitution has identified national values, or whether there are any emergency powers and limitations, or whether there is accountability and transparency. As far as those things are embedded in a document, we feel that whatever that needs to be added can be added, and whatever needs to be deleted can be deleted. So on that note, I urge each and every one of you for us to at least allow this document to move to the next stage, so that at least there we'll have the power, we'll have the mandate and the chance to see the areas that we need to input there and also the areas that we need to delete. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I thank you for giving me the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyani. I now invite the Honorable Member for Joshua constituency.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you to the Honorable Minister for coming up with the second reading of the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, let me remind my family of the 2016, 27 family. The family that we are together, that went down the whole country to promise Gambians that after election, we're going to have a new constitution. We want to have some changes. We need to have all these changes. This was a promise made by one family. That was 2026, 2027, up to 2027. And those members are all here. I'm appealing to you to reflect your memories back to those days. The promise that you gave us to say this is what you will do for us when you come into power. Now it is time that you give us those promises. I'm appealing to members. This draft that they brought here, as the minister had rightly mentioned, is not perfect. It's not everything that is embedded in it. What should we do as parliamentarians? Should we sit and say no and then it goes as it happened the last time? No. Let's allow it to go to the consideration stage where everybody comes with your own input and say, this is the way I want it to be. Come with your input and say, this is what I need. I need this place to be changed, I need this place to be adjusted, and then it will be move ahead. When it comes about you are selfish. We are not here to decide on this constitution. After after this stage here, it goes somewhere to the citizens, to the people who voted for us, to decide to say yes or no at the referendum. Are we going to deprive that thing to happen to them? Are we going to deprive them that right to vote, to say no? We are saying yes or no. We should not do that. We should allow it to pass the stage and go to the referendum stage where the citizens decide. They are more than us. We are only 58 in number. We are 2 million people are waiting for us to decide. You want to deprive us people not to decide on our fate? On their own fate to say yes or no? No. I'm appealing to members, please. This is the constitution that we need adjustment. For me, I have a lot of amendment that I need to bring forward. If you allow it to go. When it comes to citizenship, I'm saying no. There should be a change. There should be right. When you are born in the Gambia, you should be qualified to be a citizen. Why do you call people stateless in our own country? In our own African continent? We call people stateless? Should we allow that? We talk about term limit. Should we allow the president to keep staying up to any time he want to stay? Should we allow that? No. And you were saying that there were bad laws in the 1997 constitution. You said there were bad laws. Should we allow those bad laws to continue? I'm saying no. What should we do to change it? Is to allow this thing to be passed, at the consultation stage. Everybody comes on board and to say change A, change B, change C, change D. But not here to say we should start pulling each other to say no, it must die today and then we bury it. If you bury it, when will it be alive again? Our own kids will come and bring it forward to make it alive. Members, it is time we put politics aside. It is time. It's always very embarrassing for you to go out and meet your other colleagues. They ask you, when are you going to have a new constitution? When are you going to have a term limit? When other members are asking you in other countries,
When are you going to have a term limit? When are you going to have a new constitution? Your response is always what? Yes, there is a draft that we are going to debate on it. And today is the day. I wish to promise our other colleagues outside that we are having a draft and we're going to debate on it. Today is the day. So please, members, a lot of resources was spent, as some of you who alluded. They went around the country to meet ABC and they came. It was rejected here. It is the same parliament again that they are bringing this thing today for us to look at it. And they wanted to be us to come and say, no, A rejected it and B should reject it. If A did the wrong thing, why should B repeat the same wrong? If A was doing the wrong thing, then B should sit down and rectify A. But A did it wrong and B also want to follow, to do the same thing. Then we are nowhere. As a country, let's think. Let's think very smart. Let's look at the way forward. This country doesn't belong to the parliament. It belongs to every Gambian. Every Gambian has the right to come and say, stop it. They would have come here. But this is say they have limited seats that are given to all us here. I am representing Joshua with a population of what? More than 15,000 people. He's also representing Budukakunda, and all the same thing applies to you. We are representing the whole country. But that doesn't give us the right to say we should decide here every time and say this is what we want and that's what will happen. They went around to sound our opinion of our electors, and they give out their own opinion. But should we sit here today and say no, it should stop here, that's the end? Then we are selfish then. We are selfish to say no. They were accountable to our own people. If I go to a home and they say, why do you reject it? I'll be accountable to them. So should I say no because I want to say no, because I feel like A happened last time, I should do the same thing for B? No. Please, members, colleagues, I'm appealing to all of you. Everybody is watching us. This is a time for us to change. This is a time for us to sit out together and look at this draft 1 and say clause A is not fit for it. Let's go for it. Clause B is not fit. Where people will be invited to come and also give their inputs. But stopping here alone, we are depriving our other members, our other citizens to come on board. And that's very, very unfair. So please, if we don't want to be selfish, as one of the members has mentioned, we want to listen to our people. Let's do the needful. Honorable Speaker, on that note, I take my seat.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Joshua constituency. I now invite the Honorable Member for Woodley East.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I wish to thank the Minister of Justice for presenting the bill, and also thank him for coming up with the objectives of this very important bill. I want to also thank the cabinet members here present. This is a very important step that we are taking, and we must give it the importance that it deserves. This is constitutional review. Honorable Speaker, we are supposed to speak about the merits and principles, and nothing more. The details are waiting for us. We can only deal with the details if we go to the second reading. If we argue against the second reading, or if we argue that it should not go to the second reading, that it means that we will forgo whatever adjustments we need to do during the consideration stage. Honorable Speaker, we are reviewing our document. This is the national document. The journey starts from 1965, before the Gambia became a republic. In 1965, Honorable Speaker, we had elders who made mistakes. It started from there. Mistakes were done because there were people who, instead of talking to people about their freedom, they were talking to them about somebody else's ego. That they were trying to improve somebody else's ego, trying to maintain somebody else's ego. We are not here to fight for anybody's ego. Individual egos cannot move a country. It is only the Gambian people that can make this country to move. So we are reviewing the Constitution. And the objective of this review is to consolidate what we have already gained, our democracy. We have to remember that everything hinges on the democracy. If the democracy is not improved, democracy is not consolidated, we have an opportunity to relax back. And that's what we must avoid. So therefore, this is just a review to make things better. And I don't think anybody will come to a friend and say, let's make things better, and you say, no, let's not make it better, let's maintain it rotting. I don't think we will allow that. Honorable Speaker, in 1965, as I said, there were two main political parties here. A document is put before them for the country to go into a republic, to come out of the domination of the colonialists, so that we will be the architects of our own destiny. It was rejected. Because some people were saying, yes, we need a constitution, yes, we need a republic, but it should be in our hands. It should come only when we are at the helm of state. When you talk about selfishness, that's where selfishness starts. And that's where everything failed. And the 1965 draft failed to pass. Because people are fighting for individuals rather than fighting for their country. They are fighting for their party rather than fighting for their people. And therefore it failed. For 5 years, we continued to wallow under the domination of the Queen and the colonialists. For 5 years, we continue to be slaves in our own country. However, Honorable Speaker, in 1970, the same draft, more or less, was put before the people. But the people have realized their mistake. That they should not have been fighting for an individual. They have realized their mistake. And they come together massively and voted for the 1970 Constitution, also into a republic. And we did. That's why it started in 1970. Honorable Speaker, you wait for your turn. When your turn comes, you can perambulate.
Point of order.
Point of order.
On a point of order, Honorable
Speaker. In 1970, Honorable Speaker.
Point of order.
We had a new. We say point of order.
To a point of order.
Sabasanja. 17F, Honorable Speaker. While a member is speaking, all other members shall remain silent and shall not make any unseemly interruptions. And the Honorable Member for Central Badibu is unseemingly interrupting the Honorable Member for Woolly East.
Yeah, your standing order, your quoted standing order is valid and is sustained. Honorable members, I used to say this many a times. Honorable members, each and every one of you have an opinion. And you are sent here by your people to express those opinions. Nobody should prevent you from expressing those ones. So please allow members to express whatever they want to say. If you have a different one, wait until your turn and you come out with your own. Avoid interrupting members when they are speaking, please. Honorable Member for Woolly East, can you continue?
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. As I said, we are on a journey, a democratic journey, and in 1970 we had a republic. However, like it is said here, no constitution is perfect, and nobody is perfect. So there were mistakes along the way until a mishap happened in 1994. A coup d'etat took place in this country because so many things were going wrong. And I don't know what the coup makers, their objective, but what they said was there was rampant corruption, nepotism, etc., and that's why they took over. Whether that is right or not is left to any individual's guess. Honorable Speaker, however, they've suspended the Constitution. They've suspended many laws. They've become the alpha and omega of everything in the country. They become the executive, they become the parliament. But they soon realized that they cannot be here forever. There has to be a transition. And so therefore a CRC was established in 1996. And I was part of those who actually covered the public hearings across the country when Dr. Kwe was heading the CRC. We went throughout the country and people were expressing their opinions. A constitution came out. Two things were important in that constitution: absolute majority principle and term limit. The junta removed those ones, and they also embedded something in there they call it transitional clauses, that whatever they do in this country cannot be questioned in a court, etc., so that they can bury their crimes. But two choices were given to the people during that period. Are we going to reject the 1996 draft to continue the military rule, to continue the violation of our rights, autocracy to continue? Are we going to do that? Or, despite all the faults in that draft, are we going to vote for that draft so that we'll be able to have constitutional rule again, so that rule of law will continue, so that people's rights will at least be guaranteed in a document, etc., etc. These two things we must decide. But the Gambian people were wise during that period, and they voted for a yes, so that we will usher into a constitutional democracy. So in 1997, we have another constitution. And the party continued to rule up to 2016. But however, Honorable Speaker, in 2016, something very important has taken place. The opposition in this country came together and created an organization called GOFA, Gambian Opposition for Electoral Reform. And we came up with a series of proposals. Key among them, term limit is there. Age limit to be removed is there. Absolute majority principle is there, etc., etc., etc. We all came together to put that before the president. He refused to sign it. He refused to accept the electoral reform. The only thing he changed there was spot counting. So we said, okay, he has rejected all this. What should we do now? Let's form a coalition so that we'll be able to remove him and bring about those changes that he is refusing to do. And we are here now to do those changes. That's why we are here now. So in 2016, a change took place. There were some agreements there, 3 years and so on and so forth, which were not honored. They were not respected. We promised the people that these changes will come, constitutional review will come, etc., etc. They did not come. We are in the 8th year now. But the journey continues. We will not sit here and say, well, it did not happen before, so it will never happen. No, it should happen. Now we have an opportunity. In 2024, a draft came before us here. In 2020, a draft was here. I was part of those who voted for the draft. I stand on a high ground because I believe that we should review the 1997 Constitution. There is a need to review it. And if we believe that we need to come up with a new constitution, then we have to give it a try. The minister said it here. He said it is consensus building. The NPP here cannot make this constitution to come. No single party can make this constitution to pass. No party. It can only be consensus building. No single party can also say no to it and it will stop. We are Gambians. We are compatriots. Are we going to work together in this small country? Are we going to work together to do something good for our country? Or are we going to continue to wallow and quarrel and squalor all over the place? Knowing what we should do? No, we should not. So, Honorable Speaker, if we fail to move, And we will begin to see that we will be in the wrong history books. History will not be kind to us. History will not be kind to us. We are voted to be here to serve the interests of our people, as I said, not to serve any other parochial interest, but the interests of our people. And you cannot sit here and say, I'm going to refuse this draft to go to the second reading. But what I want to be there is this and this and this. You cannot put what you want unless you go to the second reading. Until we get to the consideration stage, you cannot have what you want. And nobody should say here that you must have everything that you need in this draft. It cannot happen. It is a give and take. It is a give and take. You have almost 380 or so provisions there. You will not like everything and you will not hate everything. So we must take and we must also give. But if we believe that the process that we are doing to improve our democracy, to improve our laws, that's the process we are taking, then we should allow this thing to go to the second reading so that we will move just like all the other bills and put what is there. As I said, when the electoral bill came here, we went through the country. I was part of it. The committee went through the country and we asked the people. Key among what the people are saying is term limit and absolute majority principle. And Gambians in the diaspora to vote. It's their demand. We could not meet it yet in the electoral bill, but it's fully embedded in this draft constitution. It means that if we pass this, we would have succeeded in putting a lot of things. Remember, in the 1997 constitution, there are many provisions that are left for the assembly to fulfill, to come up with an act. We did not. Up to now, we did not. And in this draft, they are addressed. Even the language in the House has been adequately addressed in this draft. So let's give ourselves, take the opportunity to do the needful to ensure that we move along and work together as a country and change what should be changed so that our people's demands can be met. We are here for that, so that our people's demands can be met. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that no amount of quarrels, no amount of desire for an individual to be something will move a country. So therefore, what we need to do is to forgo our individual interests and concentrate on the national interests. If we push this again and say we don't want it, let's say the government changes again, another government comes and also say, I want a new draft constitution. It will not be accepted. Because people will know that the selfishness he is talking about is in you. That you reject this one and now you are bringing another one. So if we accept that this is something that is good and we should move on, please, let's take the opportunity and do that. I urge all my colleagues, we are friends, we are countrymen, we are compatriots. Let's forgo all our various interests and concentrate on the national interest and ensure that we work together harmoniously, give and take consensus, and come up with a new draft constitution that we can give our opportunity to our people. Remember, if we reject this, and what we are doing is we are arrogating knowledge to ourselves. We are saying we know everything, we know what is good for our people, everything, and therefore our people don't have to have a say. But if we go to the second reading, a committee will have an opportunity to go to the people and ask them again about their aspirations. And we will get their input. But if we kill it here, that means that we arrogate knowledge to ourselves and we deprive our people of the opportunity to have a say in the building of a constitution for their country. On that note, I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank all the members, and thank the ministers and so on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Woolly East. I now invite the Honorable Member for Gimara. Pardon? He's out. I now invite the Honorable Member for Upper Fladu West.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity at least to participate in this debate, which is very, very important. I think first of all, I have to thank the executive for reintroducing this draft constitution into the parliament. And I would also like to seize that opportunity to thank International Ideas, Gambia Participates, and NCCE. I think these are partners who have done extremely well as far as consultation is concerned. I think they tore the length and the breadth of this country, at least to have that interface with various communities in this country. I think I will seize this opportunity to thank them for the good job that they have done. Because remember, we are living in a country where 85% or 90% of the population are not educated, especially when you talk about constitution. And most of our people are misinformed because they don't know what is codified in this document. Because if I go to a particular community, when I talk to them that this is what is in this document, because of I am educated, they tend to believe what I'm telling them is the truth. But whilst in actuality, it's not the truth. So, but I think it's very, very important. For me, as Member of Parliament for Upper Fladu West, I have did extremely well, and I conducted a series of engagements with my people. I think 2 weeks ago, or less than 2 weeks ago, last week Sunday, we have that community engagement whereby Gambia Participate was there. I really appreciated their effort. We invited stakeholders, so many people, from Upper Fladu West. We all converge at Bansang to discuss this 2024 draft so that people can understand what is embedded in this draft. So basically that was done for me, and also I conducted a series of radio programs so that people can understand. Because how many people can go online to get this constitution online? How many Gambians, even those who are educated, if at all that is 100, it's less than 1% will go online to get this information as far as the draft constitution is concerned. More so those who are not educated. So that is why I took it upon myself, go to my constituencies, move from one village to another, go to the radio to sensitize people. But to be quite honest, majority of my people, what they emphasize is term limit and 50+1. These were some of the issues that majority of my voters, I have a voter population of 24,701. And then majority of these people, what they have emphasized is term limit and 50+1. So now, let's ask ourselves, if we say we don't want the president to overstay in power, and we are the people who have been crying on a daily basis that there should be term limit, term limit, term limit, let us ask ourselves, are we sincere to what we are saying? If you don't want the president to overstay in power, and then we are advocating for term limit, we should allow this to pass to the consideration stage. At the consideration stage is where we can do some of our amendments. Because no bill will come to parliament that will suit everyone. And then this is an executive bill, and people should understand that. The commission, the CRC, which was set up by the executive, it was passed through parliament. And even if this government goes, any government that comes, if we are to introduce constitution, it has to be an executive bill. But for me, the reason why I am supporting this draft 2024, because I am a Democrat and I'm advocating for democracy. In democracy, if there is no term limit, there is no democracy. Now, it's a matter of choice as Member of Parliament whether we allow this to pass at the consideration stage, where we can make some of the amendments. Even myself, this draft 2024, there are issues. I have issues like citizenship. 2 parents living in this country, when they born a child, that child is not a Gambian. I have that issue, but how can I insert that into this? Until it has to pass to the consideration stage. So I am appealing to members of parliament. This is a great opportunity for us, and I think this is going to be a last chance. And then if we miss this opportunity, the future generation, not this present generation, the future generation, they will point finger at the 6th legislature. And I don't want that to happen. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the 2024 draft constitution, looking at the objects and reasons of this draft constitution, it talks about modernizations and reforms, whereby the 2024 draft constitution reflects modern democratic principle, ensuring that the Gambia remains aligned with global standard of governance. It also talks about incorporate progressive provision on human rights, gender equality, and youth representation, which are essentially for a forward-looking society. Honorable Speaker, the said draft constitution talks about repeal of outdated 1997 constitution. The 1997 constitution is outdated and no longer meets the needs of a rapid evolving society. The new constitution addresses gaps and ambiguities in the old document, providing a clear legal framework for governance. So, Honorable Speaker, these are some of the reasons why I, Honorable Bakari Kora, representing Upper Fuladu West, is supporting this draft constitution. And it also goes, Honorable Speaker, enhanced checks and balance, just as alluded by the Honorable Member for Nyani. We state the new constitution strengthens the separation of powers between the executive, legislature, and judiciary, ensuring that no single branch becomes too powerful. Introduces mechanism for greater accountability, such as the recall of members of the parliament and stricter impeachment procedures for the president. So these are good practices. And decentralization of power, which is very, very important. It promotes local governance by empowering local government authorities, ensuring that decisions are made close to the people they affect. Encourage community participation in governance, fostering a sense of ownership and responsibility among citizens. Honorable Speaker, this is a matter of choice for the parliament to decide, and this is a matter of choice, and then this is the last opportunity that we have as far as constitution is concerned. Like, as far as we are concerned, we have seen ourselves, the term that I may use, I may say we have found ourselves in Mesopotamia, the land between two seas. We have to decide. If we don't allow this to pass to the consideration stage, and then allow it to bury here, and then there is no one in this country who will go out to advocate that the president is overstaying in power, to advocate that there is no democracy, and we have an opportunity. And then we have to be very, very careful as a country. Gambia, we have to be very, very careful, because politics wants to consume us, and we should not allow politics to consume us. This document, even myself, I have some issues in this document, but how can I rectify those issues? We have to allow it to pass, to go to the consideration stage. When it goes to the consideration stage, then we can make some of our amendments. But how can we do our amendments if we don't allow it to go to the consideration stage? So, honorable members, I seek your indulgence. Please, please, for the sake of God, let's allow this to pass. That's a personal appeal. Let's allow it to pass at the consideration stage. So, without much ado, Honorable Speaker, I thank you once again. And all the ministers present here, the civil society organization, the media, I thank each and every one of you, for the stand that you have taken, and then I thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu West. I now invite the Honorable Member for Lower Fuladu West. I now invite the Honorable Member for Tumanna.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much once again, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity as a representative of the people of Tumanna. I also wish to take the floor to contribute my quota as far as this important document is concerned, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I will first of all thank the Honorable Minister of Justice and Attorney General for tabling this important document, and by extension thank the government of the Gambia for bringing this draft constitution to us. Honorable Speaker, I think it is very, very important, as previous speakers alluded, that constitutional, as far as constitutional amendment is concerned, is on consensus, and we have to discuss, agree and disagree. So I think that is very, very important. We need to take our responsibility as people's representative, and let us not give out what is incumbent upon us. And by throwing this thing out, we all know that we are giving ourselves to the outside forces. I am also joining my colleagues to please appeal my fellow honorable members to let us please look critically in this document, because this document is very, very progressive, and I think it comes at a right time when Gambians need such a document. Because we all know the 1997 can no longer serve the people of the Gambia now. Because we were all crying that those atrocities that we have meted on Gambians were as a result of the poor documents, the poor constitution that we are having. So we've been crying for 22 years. We've been crying for 8 years. Now the government has brought us a document that we can sit and look into it and make possible changes so that it can fit the purpose. I think this is very, very important. The 1997 can no longer serve us again. Honorable Speaker, I think this draft Constitution 2020, we need to actually make some comparison between the 1997 and the 2024 draft. In fact, before we will do that comparison, as far as I am concerned, we need to know that the Constitution has given the mandate to the executive to bring the draft to the parliament, and they have fulfilled that responsibility, that mandate and that duty. That's why today it has been placed before us. So when they do that, like some people, what they were complaining is the 2020 is more consultative. But look, it's the same government that has prepared that 2020, because the CRC reported to the government. When they reported the government, then they made their compilation and bring the 2020 to the parliament. Unfortunately, it has been thrown out. But now again, the same document has been taken by the executive. They go back there, sit and edit. Definitely, after 4 years, you cannot expect the same document. In fact, some people are saying that even a dot that has been removed from 2020 will not be accepted. My friend, that is too much. I think that is too much. I think that is too much. We need to, yes, no, we need to know that Gambia has moved from far behind, and we are somewhere where we should be matured enough to let go of such mentality, because that shouldn't be possible after 4 years. So there should be, everybody should expect that when the government is bringing back the document, there should be some changes. And there are a lot of possible changes there. And we all see it. And in fact, we will thank the CSOs, some of the CSOs, which make their findings and they make their comparison. And we've all, their report has been served to all of us, and we've seen it. There are a lot of things that they are in this document that they themselves see it important and they agree to it. And I think even that alone is enough for us to say that yes, let us accept this for now, and then we take it to, we take it to the consideration stage where we can make our further amendment and some changes that we wish to do it. But sitting at your comfort zone and say to yourself that, you know, this thing will not be changed, I think that is unfair to the Gambian people. That is definitely unfair to the Gambian people, Honorable Speaker. This document also is, has promoted or has guaranteed checks and balance. We all know that. In fact, without this 2024 draft, this government has demonstrated that, you know, the three arms of the government, you know, we are going together. Nobody is behind, no arm is behind the other. The check and balance is there. But for us to have a legal document that is going to protect that and that is going to push that, I think the 2024 draft is the one. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the 2024 draft also talks about decentralization, and it has guaranteed decentralization. We've seen, if we go to the document, detail into the document, we've seen that our local governments have been empowered by this document. Even our local people are encouraged to participate in the development of this country through this document. Honorable Speaker, I think, Honorable Speaker, human rights and freedom of expression are all guaranteed by this document. Even if they are not guaranteed, let us go there, allow this to pass, we go and sit and make sure they are there. Now it's our responsibility. Government has done their quota. Government has definitely done their quota. Now if we throw this, already 150 million have invested. But still now, we can say no to that, even though time has gone, because so many money has been spent, and there are a lot of losses. But we can still amend it and say to the reader, at least because it's the same document that was in 2020, it was edited. So if we throw it, that means that all those expenses that the government has done, that the CSO has done, that everybody has done, has been wasted. I think we should be very much economically conscious to say no to that. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think justice, access to justice is very, very important, and it has been put on the center stage of this new draft constitution. You know, people of the Gambia will have access, easy access to justice, and we've all seen it. And also, you know, judicial independence, we know it. In fact, even presently, we have seen a lot of cases that are in our court system, and we've seen that the court is taking them, the court is executing them independently. Nobody is guiding them, nobody is directing them, nobody is imposing, nobody is interfering. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think I would still the presidential term limit. You know, in every democratic system, nowadays everybody is crying for term limit, presidential term limit. But you are crying for presidential term limit. And today there is a document that is guaranteeing that presidential term limit. And you are saying that no to that. What else do you want? I don't know what else do we want. There is a term limit. I think even that alone can make us to accept this and let us take it to the consideration speech. Honorable Speaker, I think, Honorable Speaker, the 50 plus also is very, very important. I think even if Jammeh knows that absolute majority doesn't favor him, he will go in for this 50 plus. Because if we were having the 50 plus, it's even possible, the former president Yahya Jammeh, if even possible, that he will go in for the 50 plus. Because that is more democratic than any system. Honorable Speaker, definitely speaking, I know Gambia is a modern state now. It's becoming a modern state. And we need a modern laws. We need modern democratic principles that is fit for us. We cannot, we cannot accept to be with a constitution that has brutalized us, that has brutalized us for quite a long time. So I think what is more important, we have an opportunity to work on this document and sanitize it the way we want it. So for that being the case, Honorable Speaker, with that few remarks, I think I will again appeal personally to our honorable colleagues, to please, let's consider, let's take our responsibility. This is our responsibility. So let us not dodge it. If we dodge our responsibility, Gambians will never forgive us. Honorable Speaker, I take my seal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Tumanna. I now invite the Honorable Member for Bundung Kakunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I want to use the opportunity to thank everybody who are currently in this chamber, all geared towards trying to put our hands together for the common interest of the Gambian people. As we know, we were the 1997 Constitution. Yes, I was part of that government, but since 2016, when the change happens, majority of the Gambian people said they want to have a new constitution. As a representative of the people of Bundung, I don't work based on my party line, but I work based on the general interest of my people. So if that is the case, and the people of Bundung, highlighted some of the provisions or clauses of the Constitution through community engagement and partners like Activista, Gambia Participate, National Council for Civic Education. So these are engagement that we did, but this engagement, you don't expect to have the whole entire community. And likewise, this constitution, even the 2020 draft constitution, which was rejected here, the engagement, yes, they did what they're supposed to do, but it doesn't mean it can cover everybody. So for that being the case, based on our community, the term limit was something that most of our people recommended, that is 2 terms, which is not in the 1997 Constitution. The absolute majority, 50+1, was also one of the key that were definitely highlighted. And in fact, our parliamentary proceedings, to have our parliamentary proceeding in English and in our own indigenous language. Because right now, whatever we are doing here, in fact, right now, they are our own people who are out there. They don't even know what we are talking about. And when we are going for elections, we will go to them and talk to them in our own language, which they will understand. So meaning, in fact, that parliamentary proceeding in our local language will definitely help and enhance the understanding of the Gambian people as far as the running of the country is concerned. So for that being the case, I just want to appeal, because at the end of the day, we are all honorable members and we are trusted. This is why our people elected us in our various constituencies. But at the end of the day, we are not perfect as human beings. Sometimes we do certain things that are not in line, but that's how it should be. So, but for that being the case, I just want to appeal. Hence, we have the old one, we have the new one. And the new one meet the test of current realities. I just want to appeal. Let us compromise, allow allow it to pass so that we can go to the consideration stage. And, at least maybe the committee also will be doing some consultation, but at the level of the consideration stage, each and every one of us, we have a responsibility to see some of the provision or clauses that are not in line. We can try to work together. And also, I want to appeal to these two sides of the house. That is the majority side, majority leader, and the minority leader. You see, at the end of the day, because this is how, the assembly is, majority, minority. For me personally, I always talk about it. The first day I came here, when I saw majority, minority, I was a little bit confused. Because the thing is, already, whatever happens, there will be division. So this is why, because these are things, laws, I don't know which culture is this. I know it's a parliamentary culture or whatever, but the thing is, when we were having an engagement with Goodluck Jonathan, our first engagement at Paradise, when they start the deliberation, they said, okay, honorable members, you are the elected members, you have to unite together for the common interest of the Gambia. The Gambian people, they have trust in you. So they are telling us we should be one. But the culture of parliament is divided. So this is why all the time, we are always confused. So, but hence we cannot do anything. It's always important, these two sides of the parliament, whenever there are certain issues, they should work together to ensure that at least we all come to, in one direction, so that at least we can be able to represent our people well. Because at the end of the day, yes, at the level of the majority, minority, we can discuss or whatever, but decisions should be driven from the people that we represent. Whatever we do here is the people that we represent. So for that being the case, this is a draft constitution. It's just to guide us to do the right thing and also to move the country to the right direction. Because even the 1997 constitution doesn't tell anybody to be a bad person, unless if you want to be. Unless if you want to be. We have people here. So the thing is, and equally also, we just have to understand that we need a new constitution. Let's work together as a country, as a parliament. We are brothers and sisters here. So when issues come, that shouldn't make us to divide. Because at the end of the day, the people of Bundung that I represent, I belong to a political party. Yes, a political party is a springboard where you get nominated for you to stand on behalf of the party to be elected. But the moment you are elected, you should be sincere enough to be there for everybody. So this is why whatever decision also we do, we are not perfect, whether it's good or bad, know that it will affect our people one way or the other. So this is why I am happy that the Honorable Minister mentioned it, that we need to dialogue, we need to compromise, because there is no document. These are documents that is, is written by human beings. So that shouldn't make us, we should not tie ourselves, and we shouldn't tie ourselves to an extent we don't want to untie. We can always untie ourselves when we get to the consideration stage. Because I know there are so many people who really, participated or contributed to ensure that at least we come to this, we have this draft constitution of 2024. We know, because I cannot say much about the 2020 because I was not here, but I know during the consultation period, yes, we were consulted, but some of the issues that we even raised at that time, were not factored in that 2020 constitution. So, but we understand we cannot get everybody on board, but what is important, the majority carries the vote. This is why we are all here as parliamentarians. Because if at all we don't have the majority, we will not be here. So for that being the case, I just want to appeal, for the sake of Allah, let's work together for the interest of the people and get this thing passed for the second reading so that we can allow the committee to do their own part and come back to the consideration stage. So on that note, I want to thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Bundung Kakunda. I now invite the Honorable Member for Fonyi Jarol.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I may also thank the Honorable Minister for bringing this bill. I may thank also all the other stakeholders who one way or the other played a role in sensitizing the people. Honorable Speaker, if I am to go by what my people of Fonyi Jarol or Fonyi have decided, I don't even need to make any word, just to say that we reject it totally and bury it in Jola, just to fuck it. Because I already have the evidences, because during the nationwide consultative dialogue, when all the people were grouped, stakeholders, chiefs, alcalos, women leaders and others, at that place I was just an observer. I said parliamentary work is all about learning, listening, and observing. What is holding the development of this country is not the constitution. If you go to the US, their constitution is since 1787, 238 years old. They are not talking about changing the constitution, and they are developing. We have a problem in this country. Like I said, listening, learning, and observing. I have been listening to people. This constitution came here. It was withdrawn for a specific reason. There was a lot of debate going on, both on social media, banter bars, and political arenas. And when it was withdrawn, in fact, we the members were accused that we are giving $25,000 to, so that when it comes back, we accept it. I said, when I am here, I'm not representing a political party, I'm not representing a group, I'm here to represent the Gambian people. Like at the moment, what people are saying, some will tell you the 1997 is Yaya Jammeh, 2020 is Lawyer Dabo, 2024 is Barrow. This is what people are saying. Now, if you come back to 2017, when the undergraduates were removed, as you call them, because these are secondary four people, when the intellectuals occupied offices, you got a lot of opportunities to amend. I was just listening that time. Most intellectuals, what they were talking about, we don't need a new constitution. What we need was, you said Gambian tampered the constitution a lot. All you need was to remove and put back what you wanted. You went and spent about 100 and something million when our country is just going on hunger, no jobs created. And that money became a waste. Where's that money? By then I was not in parliament here. You rejected it. Now, all we had of a draft of 2024. When the 2020 came again, you did not agree. By then we are not here. Now you can start here. All when you fail is Jammeh. When you succeed, you don't mention Jammeh. This is what is happening in this parliament. We have the Public Finance Act 2014, which is still a law. We have the Constitution. Let's go by our committee reports of the National Assembly. Gambia is operating like we don't have laws. And we have laws. What is a law? What is a constitution? Because one, the constitution is a law that will deter us from doing either bad things or encourage us to do good things. And the constitution itself should be about our culture. It even became worrying to me when I see foreigners interfering, encouraging me to vote for the 2024 constitution. Yes, I might not be good in grammar, but when I take the book and I read, I understand what I read. But now somebody coming out to tell me accept, like I cannot accept for myself. I don't know what is good for me. I don't even understand what you people mean by that. Our problem is not this constitution. Our problem is not the agenda. Our problem is ourselves. It's not the leaders. Let's go by our report. The report that we just tabled here, the Finance and Public Accounts Committee report. Is it that what we have in the constitution allows it to happen? You tell me. What is going on in this country? Is it that the constitution 1997 allows it to happen? And then when you got the opportunity to change the constitution, when it was you, the coalition, we the undergraduates were removed, it was all intellectuals and graduates. What did you people do? You changed the age limit. That was what is more important. And during your electoral reforms, what you were campaigning for was death penalty and a term limit. You forget that one. Now it's very important. What is term limit? Now you're using term limit to tell us, I have not even gone to Mecca to accept, even if you tell me now, for Allah's sake, when I go to Mecca, I'll start to accept it. We have to represent the people. I said public office is about representation. The other name that we have is representation. And then when I got this software, this soft copy of the constitution, I put it into all my chat groups. I listen to people, even this social media, don't call them weather warriors or you could give them names. They also represent a section. We cannot call them names because they are also speaking for the voice of other voices. We are here for the voice of, I go to the Bantabas, I listen to people, people talk to me. And then I combine that together and say to myself, what kind of Gambia do we need? America, 238 years. They are not talking about a new constitution. Gambia, their problem is like constitution, which is not, maybe that's why we are not developing. Well, it's not about that. UK, they don't even have a constitution. It's a parliamentary act, which is now almost how many years old? Almost about 39 years, since 1986. But our problem in the Gambia, this constitution is now going to bring another heated debate. Others will be in. So I'm not here for that. I even always say that I'm not trying to oppose this thing, the constitution, because I'm an opposition. I said I'm not. I'm an opposition to corruption, nepotism, marginalization. This is what I'm an opposition to. Not I'm here to oppose government, because I even made it very clear here. Those who voted for the president voted for me in my area. They campaigned for the president, they campaigned for me. The UDP party, people were putting on the UDP flag and they were campaigning for me. So should I come to disrespect the UDP party here? I said a million times no. But I am going to speak the voice of the voiceless and the voice of my Fonyi people and the voice of Gambian people. We cannot write a constitution for the interest of one person. The constitution must be written to serve every Gambian, and it must be written to protect the interests of Gambians. It must be written to protect the resources of the Gambians. Not when a government is there, we write for a government. When that government leaves, we go and look for money again for funding, to borrow millions, to come and then prepare another constitution for another government. This is what is happening. Our problem is not the constitution, and even if you beg here, we will bury the constitution here today. Your problem is not Gambia. If you think now it's Gambia, we continue with Gambia, because even the Public Finance Act, which was 2014, is very good, well written. Can one just point out? And then when you got that opportunity, the coalition, the intellectuals, the graduates, 2017 up to 2021, what changes have you made on the electoral reforms that we are talking about, that you used to campaign for people to vote for you people to be in office? But every time you come here, your problem is Jammeh. Then Jammeh will continue, because the 1997 constitution is going to continue. It has a blessing. We have to see the country. The constitution must be passed. Since when it was withdrawn here, what I thought was the minister now will go and sit properly, listen to the people. Yes, put a lot of resources, go back to the people, make the amendment, make the changes. Why should we now allow you to pass to the third stage? So that you can do that change. Why didn't you do it before, when it was withdrawn? Because the bill was brought here, the last session. Later it was withdrawn. Can you give me the reason why it was withdrawn? So homework should have been done on that time, maybe completely withdrawn. Look, the number of resources, look at even the 1997 constitution. We violated it because probably it's Gambia. So if you talk about politics, we are not here to defend Gambia. But there are even the commissions that were established. Did we go by the constitution? People were appointed to commission of constitutions. Did we go by the constitution? And there's an existing constitution. We do not have a new constitution. So whatever we do in this country must be abide by the dictates of the 1997 constitution. What are we going by that? Because of hate, even when it favors, you hear the position.
Point of observation, please.
So I want to say that they are under the
can I observe you, please?
1997 section this and this and this. Then that
Point of correction.
But anytime you feel that that portion, that provision does not favor you, it's a toilet paper. There is no constitution or no public document that is going to come here that is going to serve the interests of everyone here. It's not going to. I always say the word perfect exists, but in reality it does not exist anywhere. There is no perfection anywhere. Any constitution that is going to be brought here, after 5 years, there will be a lot of change because we are moving with time. And when you move with time, you must change to meet time. I agree. In that constitution, yes, you said it was tampered, yes. We can go back to meet time. Maybe if it was tampered to suit the interest of the ex-president, I'm not going to deny that. What stops us from amending again to take it back to what we don't want? Rather than we spend almost $100 and something million. And then even all those sensitization workshops that we all attended, how much was spent? Put all this money into projects of water. Put all this money into projects of roads. This all we are wasting our resources. And we start here, we start to blame each other, blaming each other. This problem is all of us here. It is the intellectuals who wrote this Constitution of 2020. It is the intellectuals who wrote the 2024. I know it was the 1997 was written by undergraduates. That's why now it's no longer even important. But I think there are very good laws because I've been listening to people. Like I said, parliamentary work is all about listening and learning. We have to be ready to move this country forward. I always say public office is not about evicting yourself. It is about improving the lives of people that you lead. It is only through putting laws that does not suit the interest of an individual, that does not suit the interest of a position, that the Gambia will have the good laws. But anytime we are here, because I'm now in power, like today I'm a parliamentarian, now when it comes to the laws, I must bring in laws that is for the best interest of parliamentarians. Tomorrow when I move out, I say that law is not good. Then that's how we're going to serve this country. I sometimes feel sorry for my local people who are dancing for me there. At the end of it, we just fool them, come here, only workshop and fly everywhere. How can a foreigner even call me to tell me that accept this constitution as if I cannot understand what my constitution is saying? We're going to bury this constitution 65th. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Fonyi Jarol. Honorable Member, there was no time that the Constitution was withdrawn. It was never withdrawn. It was probably rescheduled, but never withdrawn. I now invite the Honorable Member for Serekunda.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we are dealing with a document which is profoundly significant in the annals of the Gambian history. It's not an ordinary document. It requires utmost caution in dealing with this document, and in doing so, we should be guided by Section 112 of the Constitution and our prayers that we recite in the morning here at the National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, the document has already sparked debate across the country, and the citizens have taken keen interest and their positions in this document. That is why when dealing with this document, we have to deal with utmost caution so that we can give it the chances that it requires so that it can reach to the people so that they can also participate in the constitution building process. Honorable Speaker, why do we need to get rid of the 1997 Constitution? This Constitution is a footprint of tyranny and dictatorship that each and every Gambian was yearning for it to be repealed. Honorable Speaker, there are some members who stood on the floor of the House admitting that they have rejected the 2020 draft. So in order to avoid coming back to this August Assembly and start admitting that we have rejected the 2024 draft Constitution, let us do a proper scrutiny and allow the bill to proceed through the proper and lawful process so that every citizen can take part in the process. Maybe for some of us who are not opportune to be here as National Assembly members don't know the process and processes of a bill. Like many speakers have said, after the debate, if we allow it to go to the committee stage, the committee will do consultation with interest groups, with the citizens as well, and whosoever feels like something needs to be amended, they can also present their position papers as well. Honorable Speaker, and when it comes to the Committee of the Whole House, we can do our amendments, but for many of us, that's where our worry is, because we have witnessed some of the members on the majority side have been also playing those powers, but this document doesn't require that. Some have also, as a National Assembly member, we should be dictated by conscience and national interest. But in our context in the Gambia here, because of poverty, many are not financially strong. They cannot stand alone. They cannot sponsor their campaign. So they are compelled to succumb to those that fund their campaign. Honorable Speaker, this is about country. There has been many people who were here before. My grandfather passed through this hallowed chamber. He became a National Assembly member since 1965, from 65 to 92. He is no more here. Now I am here. So we need to do the needful, as the saying goes. And a member of the IPU, one of the definitions of National Assembly, is the cornerstone of every meaningful democracy and development. We have the powers in our hands. Like I said during the budget speech, this document, yes, from the executive side, we can change everything here as National Assembly members. We have the powers. But that can only happen if we see country first. So, Honorable Speaker, as my colleague, normally in our culture here, when an elderly person speaks, we cannot say much. But there is no one in this country who will stand and say there were no people who haven't said it in this country. We have always had people guiding us as a country. But we are always on denial. And what surfaces here is evident. That is, for many speakers, calling for regime change. We are calling for system change. Let's change the system. Like some have said here, the principle of absolute majority, that 51 plus percentage of votes, that's very important. And it's irony that the executive is advancing for absolute majority while some of the opposition members are condemning that. That is very irony, Honorable Speaker. It's irony. There were people, I won't blame some of the members here, but because of maybe they started showing interest in 2016, 2017. And in order to fully understand this, you have to go back to the plantation. It was two types of slaves that joined slavery: the house Negro and the field Negro. We have always been field Negroes. We have always been in the field. Honorable Speaker. So like we said, this is about consensus building. And let's be part of the history for giving our people the chance that they have never had, like the member for Woolly have said, 1965 Constitution, 1971, 70 Constitution, 1994 Constitution. These were all imposed on us. So, Honorable Speaker, with those few remarks, like I said, we should allow the bill to go through proper and lawful process. And anything short of that may be seen as selfish and contrary to the national interest. At this critical moment, our discussion must reflect statesmanship, not personal or partisan consideration. So with those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Serekunda. I now invite the Honorable Member for Banjul Central. Honorable members, once again, let me remind members, let's avoid repetition as much as possible.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also lend a voice with regards to this important transitional period that we've all found ourselves. Honorable Speaker, we would all agree, based on a recently published barometer, that 67% of the Gambian populace want a new constitution. That is evident. Everyone that you speak to says that they want a new constitution. So, Honorable Speaker, with that being the case, we are individuals who were elected here in Parliament, coming from diverse societies, coming from diverse areas within the Gambia. And we have almost 1.3 million people who cannot be in these chambers to speak. So we are all selected, or elected rather, by our people, thousands of people, to be their mouthpiece, to be their voice here in Parliament. For that matter, Honorable Speaker, I think it is prudent that we treat things with caution and be very judicious in our working process. Honorable Speaker, in 2020, I'm here wondering exactly, because based on institutional memory, I think some of our elderly statesmen here have amicably given us a breakdown of what happened way back in since the First Republic up till now. At least that gives us a genesis as to exactly where to pinpoint us and our direction as a country. My questions were, Honorable Speaker, with regards to the draft 2020 Constitution, was it based on lack of, I would say, national consensus? I would say no, because the CRC, went all over the length and breadth of this country to seek opinions. I also question myself, was it based on perceived political division? You can say somewhat, because political inclinations are never absent when it comes to, constitutional issues. I also question myself as to, was it sensitization challenges? I said no, because everyone was involved. I could remember being a very young person, when they came to my area, I was even part of those that also lent my voice when it comes to some of the opinions that I had then. I also questioned myself, was it concerns over specific provisions? And then I said yes. So the only division that took place in these hollow chambers was what members differed when it comes to opinion, when it comes to what specific provisions in the Constitution. So when it comes to the constitutional process, Honorable Speaker, one will question yourself, why are we here? Are we representing ourselves? Are we representing our political parties? Or are we here to serve as the voice of the general populace? That's a question we should ask ourselves whilst we are in these processes. Also, Honorable Speaker, I had different choices to make coming here. I could choose to be emotional when it comes to this. I said no. I could choose to be irrational when it comes to this process. I said no. Could I choose to be logical or considerate when it comes to this process? I said yes. Because what? I'm not here to make my own decisions, but I'm making decisions on behalf of what? Millions of people. Honorable Speaker, I think every single person here will agree that a constitution does not come in provisions. It comes, holistically. And within that, I think it's quite evident that we can never move forward whereby each and every one of us here will agree to every single provision of this constitution. That has never happened anywhere. A member has quoted here the United States Constitution that has been here since time immemorial and has always been, prone to certain amendments. That means constitutional building and process is what? Is transient, is continual. For that matter, Honorable Speaker, I, with my other fellow National Assembly members from Banjul, apart from the NCCE engagements, which was quite productive, which happened recently, way before that, we convened to discuss with our people. Honestly, the turnout was not like we expected. That also gave me an idea later on to re-engage my people, which I later did. Upon re-engaging my people, Honorable Speaker, it gave me a different perspective. And I'll be very honest with these hollow chambers. I'll be very honest. I had a preconceived notion, like any other person, with regards to the 2020, that it needs to be reinstated, basically. But once I started to consult with my people, I was able to have what? Mixed reactions. Mixed reactions from my constituents. That is, after the NCCE and also after the 3 parliamentary dialogue that we had at Banjul. So that being the case, I had to reinvent myself. I had to also re-examine myself as to exactly what my purpose would be. Should I come to the chambers and just come up with a particular concept, or what should I do? I was in a dilemma because I was having mixed reactions from people, meaning that also what I discovered from my people during my engagement was that people, I'm not blaming any political party or political actor, but I think we are all to blame, and also the political parties, for the mere fact that people really do not understand the contents of this particular provision. People do not understand, and that's the reality. Anyone that I engage, they will say that, 2024, we will draft the barobelade, or those that are with the government will tell you, no, in 2020, you understand? So if you engage them further when it comes to the provisions, then you will tend to see them having diverse, oh, okay, lima fanega, I have one di boy li bahna di, or they'll be like, no, li bahude, lima fanega, anuma lini.
Point of order.
Just give a reference, please. Please. I'm just making a context, please.
Honorable Member for Nyanija, are you talking about
No, it's okay.
Honorable Member, can you continue, please?
Yes, sorry, yes. Yeah. I was just trying to make a reference, Honorable Speaker. Yes. Yes. Yeah, sorry. I get your point. I get your point. Yes. So, Honorable Speaker, that being the case, Honorable Speaker, I also engaged in various radio programs whereby it was open, because as a representative, you just cannot segment yourself within your constituency. Because we all come from constituencies, but once we are in these hollow chambers, I think we're representing the entire Gambia. The decisions that we make here will be reflective to every single Gambian. It will impact their lives directly, all the decisions that we've ever made here in Parliament. So I decided to at least stretch myself a bit. I was involved in few radio shows and programs whereby I was invited, and the lines were open. And I was also getting feedback from the general populace with regards to this bill. I could remember one program I had at Teranga. Once I started delving into these provisions, like the calls were coming non-stop. From there, I realized that our people really do not know the contents of this particular document. You understand? So that being the case, why I'm trying to make these things clear is everyone has something that influences their decisions. That's why I had to give you a genesis exactly as to why I would later come with a stance when it comes to this, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, if you look at, because right now we're just restricted to the general merits and principles of the bill, we cannot go in depth. However, when it comes to the area of citizenship, for example, you know, it was a bit very contentious when it comes to the engagements with my people. However, you would see good provisions there. For example, it says that a child that is 8 years or below, for example, with parents unknown, you know, can be declared a citizen of this country. And under the Child's Act, that is actually giving them protection, for example. I don't see anyone here saying that that is a bad provision. That's one. Secondly, the issue of time limit, I don't want to delve into that. Secondly, when it comes to the fundamental rights and freedoms, we might debate on it, but you know, all the provisions are there for us to see. When it comes to freedom of the media, for example, in 2020, section 47, it's been deleted, and I do not agree with that. If you ask me, I would want it to be what? Reinstated, for example. For example, if you look at the rights to assembly, for example, you know, it's deleted because it's been restricted in the 2024 draft. And we all advocating that, you know what, even some time ago, a member brought in a private member's bill when it comes to freedom of assembly, which was rejected. So these are all things that people are craving for that are not given to them in this draft. You understand? But there are other provisions that are very progressive that people would want. Any reasonable person that you talk to will agree to those provisions, Honorable Speaker. Example, a honorable member made mention of it, the 50+1, absolute majority. I think every single sane person would really agree to that particular provision because it's needed. And everyone in the country feels that it's progressive. Why I'm giving you all these mixed things is that when it comes to constitutional building, we can never be in the same wavelength when it comes to having things on a holistic perspective. There's always something you would want and something you wouldn't want, Honorable Speaker. And when it comes to this process, Honorable Speaker, we all would have reservations in certain things, and we will all have things that we would endorse. I don't want to be a bit sentimental, Honorable Speaker, but when it comes to politics, I always like to say that it's very important that we are also truthful in our deliberations, for example. The reason why I'm saying that is we all had times whereby, you know, even right now, the opposition that is here currently, there was a time they were in government, for example. You understand? So we all have our own limitations. For example, a member made mention here, like when they came in, there are certain provisions that were unfavorable, like the age limit. It was changed because it favored them at that particular material time, and it was done. Let's just be honest here, and it was done. So there will always be executive interest. There will always be what? Political interest. That's how things go. So in this case, we should be considerate in the way there are certain things you have to agree that you can never do without those things because we are in a political arena. The people that feel that this should be rejected, they have their particular interests, and once they stand here in the chambers to really address that, you will be like, you know what, I think he's making good points. And then the other side also, once they come up with their own provisions, you'll be like, I think this is reasonable. So what does that teach us? That at least what we should try to reach consensus and what compromise. I think that's diplomacy. Yes. So, Honorable Speaker, when it comes to just to close down in a nutshell, based on what I was able to gather from the people that brought me here in Parliament, though I would like to say that my only worry is that I would want this to go to the next stage, because I would remember having a conversation with the then parliamentarian of Banjul Central. I was the honorable member for Nyani just said that he received a lot of calls. I was those that was also calling him, to ask him on certain provisions, and also why the need, because we are having rumors that the bill is aiming to be rejected and stuff like that. So I was also engaging him as my representative, as I should, as a civic duty. So what he told me was that there are provisions that are really empowering the judiciary, something like that. Like he says, the bill is okay. He doesn't have a problem with the majority of, let's say, the provisions, but there's this particular provision that has to do with the judiciary, and he's not comfortable with that. So because of that, he's going to reject it outright. So what does that tell us? I'm just trying for us to see the checks and balances here. You understand? So, and when I was campaigning, also part of what I was telling my people was that I will try to make sure that when it comes to the draft constitution, when it comes to its introduction, I will advocate for it. And when it comes, no matter how it comes with, or whatever the package is, I will also try to see the bigger picture when it comes to it. So just for the record, I am endorsing this to go to the next stage. Why? Because I think I owe it to the people that brought me here. For the record. Yes. Because with that, I have the feeling that it can be sanitized, we can debate over it, and during the consultation, consultation process with my people, whilst we were talking on all these things I was naming, citizenship, term limit stuff, people were so engaging. Everyone was giving in their opinions. And I was taking notes. It's here in my book. Every single participant here and their names is highlighted here. Which means I was preparing myself for the consideration stage. My tag is here. In any provision that I do not agree with, I will vote. I will let them know that I do not agree to this. This is what you told me to vote on. It's that simple. So on that note, Honorable Speaker, I would like to endorse the bill to go to the next stage for the interest of the people that brought me here in Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Banjul Central. I now invite the Honorable Member for Fonyi Bondali.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to take part in this very important debate. Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank the mover of the motion or the bill. Honorable Speaker, it's rather unfortunate, especially with the developing countries, we always engage in argument about this constitution thing. Honorable Speaker, in the case of Gambia, I believe there is this very important constitution that we need to change. That is our own constitution. If I say our own constitution, that means our own attitude. Honorable Speaker, this is a written document, but the written document is enforced by the Gambians or the people who are given responsibility to positions. There is no provision in the 1997 Constitution that encourage corruption or nepotism or whatsoever that has to do with bad things. So, Honorable Speaker, speaking about that, I think the most important is that we need to change ourselves first, for us to see our nation first before any other thing. If we are settled on that, then we can all agree to change our constitution that we will all believe is belong to the whole Gambians. Because looking at it, the 1997 constitution, many believe it was the former regimes, especially the former president's constitution. And the same thing will happen to this country, constitution, if it is passed. So we need to check ourselves first. Honorable Speaker, before going further, what I learned from my people, not the people of Fonyi Bondali alone, but the people of the whole Fonyi, or the three Fonyi, that's Kasala, Jaron, and Bondali. during our consultation, they told us that rather they did not need this constitution. And I'm also going to stand on that. Honorable Speaker, people were claiming that there is an original part of the 1997 Constitution, but maybe some reason best known to the people who were there, I don't know, they say that it was changed. But the people claiming to have the original text of 1997 should have brought forward that original text before wasting a huge amount of money on a new draft constitution. It wastes our resources, wastes our time. So I believe the people who were having the original text should have come forward with that text. And then if you feel like the former regime were putting things that favors them, why not we come up with the things that favors the whole nation instead of coming with another new draft, to save our resources and then time for us to move on. Honorable Speaker, going into the book itself, especially on the issue of time limit, I believe there is something that is very much important that we all fail to do. I don't think there should be a law even to say that there will be time limit or non-time limit. Even if they vote me as a president, for instance, I did my first term, that's 5 years. Maybe I may say that I'm on a learning curve. I'm learning. But if they vote me for the second term, and I'm seeing that absolutely things are not going, I should have this in mind to say that, look, I did my best, but I don't think I can go forward. Just, you go down. It's very simple. But this is the hardest thing that we don't normally do. Even whereas you are seeing things are not going, but still now you'll be clinched on it, trying to see whether it will go or not. And then people who are around, if you say that you are going to look at the people who are around or your surrounding, if you are looking at their interests, that means you are not even fair to yourself. You should look at the bigger picture that, I cannot do it, let me just give it to somebody else to try it. It's all about trying. Honorable Speaker, going further, citizenships on the book itself. Citizenship, I think this thing does not even still address our problem as a country. Because people, I normally tell this, we are acting unfairly on certain people. Because if you can just take the sample of the Ghana town as a sample. Some people are here for quite a lot of number of years, but they cannot obtain our citizenships. And then people whom we don't even have the same color with us, easily get our citizenships. Where is the law? Where is the logic on that? And then even looking at ourselves, I'm a Jola from Fonyi. I have relatives in Casamas very well. And then some of them people, if they come, they get our papers. You go to the other communities. You go to the Fulas community. You go to the Fula communities. People from Kunakiri, they come here, get our papers. People from Bissau here, they come to the Gambia, get our papers. Why? We all speak the same language, but we are treating other people because of you don't speak the same language. It's not fair. And some of them people might even have they will be more qualified to have our papers than most of our relatives here. It's an open secret. Honorable Speaker, going to the book, going to the fundamental human rights and freedom. Fundamental human rights and freedom. Still now we can do. Still now, some people are left. We can say that some people are still left behind when it comes to freedom and their fundamental right. Like the people of Fonyi, they are used as what? Human seal. they are used as human shield simply because of, you have Senegalese soldiers stationed inside Fonyi. Between them, you have the MFDC and then the Senegalese soldiers inside here in the Gambia. When a commotion comes or how do they call it, crossfire, confrontation, who are left in between? These are the people of Fonyi. They did not see themselves in this book also. What did the Constitution say about that? There is border between the Gambia and Casamance, sorry, between the Gambia and Senegal. Why not them soldiers go and stay at the border? We remember we also have youngsters who are also going to school. These are the young people going to school, seeing people parading with guns. People you don't know, people who don't even speak the same language. Going to school wondering, whether I'll go home, safely or not. So we all need to remember all those things. Honorable Speaker, with these few remarks, I also want to join my colleagues and remember also my people, with your permission, during our consultation told us that, Jibeten. Jibeten simply means throw it. So I'll also stand on that, to reject it also. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Fonyi Bondali. I now invite the Honorable Member for Banjul North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I will also want to join my colleagues to thank the Attorney General and Minister for Justice for tabling this important bill in this Parliament. But, Honorable Speaker, for the records, I will also want to make one thing clear, that in 2020, the Gambian people were expecting something better, but unfortunately, Parliament rejected that situation for them. And now 2024, I can say this document is one of the most anticipated documents as far as our reform process is concerned. But also understanding that this is a document that we believe must reflect the aspiration of the Gambian people. Like my fellow colleagues have already said, and I will take an example from the member from Banjul Central. Yes, we did consulted our people. And during the consultation, like he said also, that the turnout was not as big as expected. But we further took it upon ourselves and went back to our people. And we can even say it as a process whereby we went from voo to voo and almost house to house to talk to our people. Indeed, we are from the same city, but our people can be very different because we are from different constituencies. And this is the truth, Honorable Speaker. Looking at the merits and the principle of this bill, my people are indeed very, very concerned about so many things, especially when it comes to issues surrounding citizenship, which some members did talk about here already, which you said we should not be repeating ourselves here. I think this is something that is indeed very, very important as far as this particular document is concerned. Honorable Speaker, one thing that we have to remember, that we are in Parliament to better represent our people. And in doing so, we are here to address the needs and the concerns of our people. And if I say the needs and the concerns of our people, I don't only mean the people of Banjul North. Yes, I was voted into office by the people of Banjul North. but I am here to represent the entire country as a National Assembly member. And also seeking their views, as my honorable colleague did. I was also involved in so many radio programs, maybe on different stations, again. But the view and the opinion of the people are so different, to be honest. Because this is something that I believe, like he said, during the 2020 draft consultation. By then, I can remember I was the IPRO of the Banjul City Council. And we had engagement in Banjul. The consultation was very successful. We had one at the Arch, and the other one was organized at St. Joseph Senior Secondary School Hall. The turnout was so good. You don't expect everybody to be there, that is very true. But it was very, very inclusive. But with this one, unfortunately, it's true that I wasn't around, but the level of engagement, to be honest, I don't think it went accordingly. And I don't really think also that NCCE was really communicating to the local people or to the Gambian people as far as this process was concerned. And any member have the right to say whatever you want to say at the end of the day. But with the consultation that I had with some of my people that attended, I believe it was very important also to come up with things that will widen their horizon in terms of understanding what was exactly or what is exactly in this particular document, which is not the case. And to make it clear also, not to forget, because it is very important to make the record straight and make it very clear that on behalf of my people, I am not supporting this document today, tomorrow, and forever. And that is my honest opinion on this, and this is the opinion of my people. And to make it also very clear, I had some members talking about receiving calls during the 2020 draft process. They said they received almost 100 calls. But unfortunately, they didn't say any calls that they received this time around, meaning there is something going on. And we must reflect on those things. Meaning Gambians are not interested in this document, and they will never be interested in this document. As long as and as much as we see this as one of the most anticipated documents as far as our transitional justice process is concerned, we want a document that reflects the aspiration of the Gambian people. And we have to be very honest to each other. I had some members talking about selfishness. We'll be very selfish if we agree to move this document to another stage. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Banjul North. I now invite the Honorable Member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Yes, it's going to be very short and precise. Honorable Speaker, I have questioned myself whether it's even necessary to take part in this debate. But it's good to show my position as well. That's the only reason of taking part in this debate. Honorable Speaker, I was part of the last legislature, that is the 5th legislature. And it's in the court that I supported the 2020 draft constitution. It's in the court, and I want to be in the court in 2025 in the 6th legislature as people's representative, and having gone through the 2020 draft constitution and gone through the 2024 draft constitution, I have realized that 120 plus clause have been changed. which is unexplainable to the nation. And there was no consultation on it. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I want to make it very clear to the nation that I am 100% against this 2024 draft constitution. And having said that, Honorable Speaker, I don't want to waste the time of this assembly to go in for a long debate. I want to make my position very clear that I am 100% against, and I thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Bakau. I now invite the Honorable Member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I want to thank the Cabinet Ministers, our partners, CSOs, and media. Honorable Speaker, what is before us is 2024 draft. Honorable Speaker, as other speakers have rightly mentioned, we have been in this parliament since 2017 up to date. And I, for one, I supported the 2020 draft constitution. That was people-centered. Honorable Speaker, the constitution is meant to address the principles of good governance. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, you know, constitution, as we used to say, we know that it cannot favor everybody. We know that. But this 2024, Honorable Speaker, I think they put the cart before the horse. Honorable Speaker, you should engage the citizens. You should engage, please, please. You should, please, wait for your time, Majority Leader, please. Wait for your time.
Address me, please.
Yes, I said let him wait for his time.
No, ignore him and then address me.
He is disturbing me.
No, Honorable, if he is disturbing you, we will have, no, Honorable, let's not argue over this. When you address the speaker, and if there is somebody disturbing, you call my attention, not you to be talking to the person. You cannot
thank you. I'm not talking to him.
Yeah, no.
But he is the one disturbing me.
Please, if you have anything happening, address me.
Honorable Speaker, having said that, all of us have gone through 2024. We have gone through it. Honorable Speaker, and we said that the Constitution should be a Constitution that is to the interest of the Gambian people. And if you look at the 2024, Honorable Speaker, what I want to say is that we account the executive. We do oversights on them. But we also, our electorates, they also perform oversights on us. They look at us, what we are doing. If we look at the 2024, most of the appointments, nominations are done by the president without any confirmation from the National Assembly. Where is your power? And people have sent you here. They cannot speak. They said they send you here to fight for their right. Anything that comes, anything that the president do, it means you have nothing to say against that in terms of appointment. And the other 2020, we all have seen it. It has to come to the assembly for confirmation. If people are saying that, yes, they have consulted the citizens, let's have consultation. Let's have consultation. Because you should have done it earlier, before you take out the draft. Before you take out that, you should have gone and consult the people that we want, how do you want the country to be? They tell you their opinions. And based on that, you bring it to the parliament, but you go and butcher everything and bring that draft. And after you say, let me go and consult the citizens, what are they going to say? And you see, Honorable Speaker, it will be very important the way some National Assembly members are saying things. I didn't mean that we can speak local languages here. It is going to be very important. Because the way some people are speaking here, our people, they cannot hear what we are saying. They cannot hear what we are saying. They cannot understand what we are saying. And if you want to explain something to somebody, you may got it right or you may got it wrong. You see? But our role, all of us are here to represent the Gambian people and also represent your constituency. I always used to say, Honorable Speaker, if you look at the country, something that is coming to the country, look at your constituency. If it affects your constituency, you have to say it. Maybe what is good to another constituency might not be good to my area. So should I keep quiet over that and say, yes, the whole Gambia said this, but it is not good to Sami? No, I have to say it. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the 2024 draft that they are saying, the Honorable Member for Central Body brought a private member bill here, and it was rejected. Public Order Act, it was rejected. And people are saying, yes, we have democracy, democracy. What democracy do you have in that when all confirmation is done by the president, and still now the Public Order Act in their constitution, draft constitution 2024, it's the same thing. It's the same thing there. You know, when you are explaining certain things to people, Honorable Speaker, there are key things that interest the public. Tell them those things. They will definitely know, yes, whether this draft is fit for purpose or not. But how can we say that, yes? Who don't want a constitution? We want a better constitution for the Gambian people. We want that. But, Honorable Speaker, what I want to say is that as a National Assembly member, nobody brought you here. It's your people. I am into so many WhatsApp where my people are. Any problem that I have with regard to the National Assembly, if it is a bill, I put it on the forum. I said, yes, let's discuss this. What's your opinion? I hear from them. But if you don't do that, you just say yes, others are saying yes, my people say this. Yes, because most of our people, they cannot understand what we are saying. That's why they cannot react. That's why they cannot react. Honorable Speaker, I don't want to talk, but I think let me just stop it here. But I'm totally against this 2024 draft. Thank you very much for giving me the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Sami. I now invite the Honorable Member for Lower Badibu. I now invite the Honorable Member for Kiang West. Pardon?
I didn't raise my tag.
Oh, sorry. It's Kiang East. I'm sorry. It's Kiang East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And thank you, Attorney General and Minister of Justice, for bringing this bill, a bill that has generated so much debate and controversy throughout the country. Honorable Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to remind the National Assembly, and indeed everybody who has interest in following this debate, that we are at a moral crossroad. This is a moral reckoning for us. For me, the National Assembly either stands with the people of the Gambia or we stand with the privileged political elite. This is what this constitution is about. A constitution that removed key provisions that would have addressed the issue of transparency and accountability in the government. A constitution in which free education is limited just to the lower and upper basic schools, rather than extending it across the entire education system. A constitution that ignores the wishes and aspirations of the Gambian people. Well, I am talking about these things because I was here in 2020 when the debate was going on. And in that debate, I cautioned this Honorable House that it was going to be a fundamental error to ditch that constitution in 2021. 2021. I said that because I saw today coming. People who rejected that constitution, members who rejected that constitution, are the very ones now asking the National Assembly to allow the passage of this one, when we know very clearly that the 2020 constitution was far better than this one. They cannot even be compared. What is the problem? Are we seeing ourselves? Are we trying to protect the few elite, or are we trying to serve the interests of the Gambian people? These are moral questions that we need to ask ourselves. And at the end of the day, we are going to be judged. Not by all these people in the National Assembly, but by the Gambian people. Whatever we do today is going to haunt us. So it's better we act rightly so that our names will be written in the good history of the Gambian people. Honorable Speaker, the Constitution is a public trust. It is not a gift. It is a promise to the governed. This book is a promise that the Gambian people should be governed based on their wishes and aspirations. So it is not a gift. Therefore, it must protect the weak before it protects the strong. Of course, we know that the Gambia, majority of the people are poor, very, very poor. Poverty in the superlative sense of the word. So whatever is presented before this assembly in terms of laws, especially the constitution, should address those ones. But a constitution that neglects the people and prioritize the interests of the selected few or the top few is indeed a very bad constitution. And we don't even need to deliberate on other provisions of the constitution, but the mere fact that this constitution is providing a free ticket for the top elite, people who are in control of the state's resources, to do whatever way they want the resources. That should have been the best reason for us to reject this constitution. Honorable Speaker, 2020 versus the 2024 constitution. I think I'm not going to deliberate much on that. But when we compare, we were here. We have seen we know what the 2020 constitution contains. We know what the 2024 constitution contains. But even quite apart from looking at the contents of that constitution, when we look at the process that led to the 2024 constitution, we know it was consultative. Everybody who had the opportunity was consulted. Everybody who had the chance to say, who wanted to say something, said something, right in the Gambia and even in the diaspora. So that 2020 draft was actually a document that the Gambian people took ownership of, but unfortunately, it was thrown out. Now here, we are presented with a constitution that a few people sat around the corner, did whatever they wanted to do with the constitution, and then they brought it back to us, asking us to validate that constitution. I'm not going to be part of it. And I want to take this opportunity to inform this August Assembly that should anything happen to me before a vote is taken, please count my vote as one of those people who voted no for this constitution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Kiang East. I now invite the Honorable Member for Central Badibu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I want to thank all my colleagues who witnessed the day that the 2020 draft was kicked out of this parliament. And I want to thank Almighty Allah for granting me this day also. It's good that you are part of history. It's good that you witness certain events, how they happen, and what was your contribution. Honorable Speaker, one thing that I want to establish here is that we are not against a constitution, a new constitution. We all want Gambia to have a new constitution. But the number one person who owe the Gambian citizens a responsibility is the President of the Republic. And on that fateful day, the President and his minister did not show that responsibility to this parliament. And I cried here on that day to appeal to my colleagues for us to go to the committee stage, but they refused, the reason known to them. By then, I'm not going to call them NPP names, but I will call them UDP renegades and some independents. Honorable Speaker, this was the promise that we made to the Gambian people, that we will give them a new constitution. We failed as the people's representative, and we did not give them a constitution. Here again, we said we want a new constitution. The people of Central Badibu have asked me to ask the Honorable Minister what went wrong on that fateful day, because they cannot still understand. It's just like, a bomb dropped on their house when the bill was rejected. They cannot still understand why was it rejected. They need a better explanation so that they can make a decision on the 2024 draft. Honorable Speaker, the 2024 draft is not citizen friendly. When I said citizen friendly, the consultation was limited. As alluded by a member of SAMI, the people should be consulted. It should be consultative. When I say consultative, the people need to have their input on the bill before it is submitted to the parliament. The 2020 draft was widely consulted. And in fact, I will be very pleased if a member...
Honorable member for Central Bank, just a minute. Where is the sergeant at arms? There are people outside who are disturbing the proceedings of the assembly. Can you continue, Honorable?
Yes, a member from Woolley is made those historic remarks. He should have also continued to say that 2020 draft was the draft that was historically, contested, and it went around far and wide than any other constitutional consultation. Why was that rejected on that fateful day? Honorable Speaker, the work that we have before us today, we are not revenging or we are not paying back. It's not time to pay back, but it's a time to give our citizens an opportunity to have a say in the document. So let's take this constitution back to the people. Let us establish national assembly, constituent committees to discuss. And one thing that the draft failed, why the majority leader and the minority leader did not have caucus on the bill.
Can I, please, observation, please? Please. Yeah, just on your that statement, if you give this an opportunity, the consultation can be done by the relevant committee of the National Assembly at the various constituencies.
Thank you very much. Before you give it to a committee, if you call ourselves as a family, I'm here, I remember saying that we are family, we all see the interests of the country. Why we don't come together and meet? That opportunity is not given to members. Are you people interested in this constitution? Are you people interested in the constitution? Who are you fooling? You prefer the 1997 constitution over the 2024 draft. We know it. We know it. If you believe in this draft, you will approach both sides of the parliament. We sit and discuss on this matter, but never done. Honorable Speaker, the bill doesn't promote accountability and transparency. It's one of the reasons that I'm not going to give my blessing to it. And it has promoted executive dominance over all the sectors of this country, which can lead to abuse of authority, it can lead to abuse of resources, it can lead to all kinds of things, kleptocracy in this country. Honorable Speaker, the other thing why I don't give my blessing to it, even this parliament, we all know that the parliament, I'm not talking about parliamentary supremacy per se, but the parliament must have the authority to hold the executive accountable. All the powers has been taken from us. They want us to become toothless bootleg. And we can't trust you. If there is trust, we can allow the bill to go to another level. But we can't trust you. Because of recent, we have the diaspora, the bill on the election bill here. You took out diaspora voting. And you use your power on us, your number on us, to abuse the will of the people. How can we trust you? Where is trust? Anti-corruption bill. You water down undue advantage. Unexplained wealth. Where is the trust? Not that we don't want it to go to another level. A member of Woolley is, but there is no trust that you will get at the end of the day what you want for the Gambian people. You can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. As Bob Marley said. Honorable Speaker.
Sorry, can I observe you? Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want you to stop taking reference on the member for Woolley. It is his right to express his opinion during the debate.
Thank you. Thank you. I know he's your father, but he's my uncle. Yeah, he's your political father, he's my uncle. So if you want to speak for him, no problem. I allow you to speak for him. Honorable Speaker, the very Public Order Act that came to this parliament, hadn't been we compromise, we look at the interests of the nation. Today, you can also hold me by neck to say, Honorable Sao, support this. But you misbehave on that day, to us here, abuse me here on the floor of the parliament. You never expect that today will come to serve the interests of the republic. But you did not do it to me, you did it to the parliament and the citizens of this country. So what I'm saying is, we can't support this because it's not democratic. The process was not democratic. We know the Constitution gives the executive to emanate or to enact a bill, but it must go through a process. So let's go back to the people. We are not against a new constitution. And I'm not a fan to 1997 constitution. But I want the process to be done in a manner that the people will have their voice on it, not to impose. A lot of dialogue took place, according to some people who spoke here, internationally. And the points that we wanted to strike a compromise on, instead you went and made your own amendments. So, come on, this game is too cheap to be played on the floor of the parliament. It's too cheap. So let's take it to the people. I'm appealing to the minister, though it's late to be withdrawn. My position was for them to withdraw it and take it back to the people. Now that it's late, we are going to make a decision here. Then that's not the end of the journey. Let's go and sit down again at our comfort zones. We visit our young people at the Bantabas, at the big side, at their booths. We make a decision for this country. I thank you. Don't feel sad.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Central Badibu. I now invite the Honorable Member for Brikama South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want to thank the Attorney General and Justice Minister for bringing this particular draft Constitution 2024. Honorable Speaker, I think we are on a very important engagement, which concerns every Gambian in and outside the country. Constitution is very important, and I want us to understand whether we understand this is a public document and at the same time a political document. And the National Assembly is a political house, and every political representation here has an emerging following in our respective constituencies. So it's important for us to look at the pattern in which we are building our constitutions. It's not easy for somebody to come with a constitution that is, in my opinion, not very much consultative as far as we are concerned. Had it been that consultation is done, it's going to be a different ballgame. Honorable Speaker, I think when this 2024 draft was out, it has attracted national attention. You have a lot of people that are talking about these things. And once it was brought to the parliament, in fact, the debate was extended to a certain level, to an extent that it was kind of suspended for the second reading. But I believe that if the executive is very much interested about the passing of this particular bill into a constitution, they would have withdrawn the constitution and go back to people, discuss with all the political actors, and make sure that vital issues are captured in the constitution. I think that will help a lot. But it was rather unfortunate this was not done. And that is why still people are not very much comfortable. If you look at this, I want to inform you, Honorable Speaker, I was part of the 5th legislature. In 2018, the Constitutional Review Commission bill was brought to us. We unanimously enacted it. And that gave birth to the Constitutional Review Commission that was established by the executive, committing 116 million to the commission to consult the Gambian in and outside the Gambia. And that is why when that draft constitution was out, it was accompanied by an explanatory note.
Not only that, there are instances where even we have this divergent view when you come to certain provisions. The voter statistics were provided. So, like for me, I want to believe that the 2020 draft was not rejected by the parliament. I have my reasons. Because the CRC was established by the government. Upon completion, they submitted to the government. The cabinet sat over it and they had a position, which was very clear. And they are very much aware of section 226 sub 2B, where the threshold is very high. And it was given to a few people in the parliament as a debating point, only to come and frustrate it. 33 of us voted for that constitution to pass, only 18 rejected it. It was very sad. You can see most of them in a jubilant mood in certain areas. But it was very unfortunate because during the 2026 presidential election, presidential campaign, there was a strong promise for us to have a new constitution in order to usher Gambia into a third republic. But it was unfortunate that fateful day, I believe the same executive rejected. But we want to understand, most of the people are talking about 1997 constitution, where almost 90% of that constitution empowered the presidency. Honorable Speaker, you will understand that there is one fundamental issue that is absent in our governance structure, job security, starting with our cabinet ministers, where the president will appoint within a blink of an eye without any consultation. There's no provision that he's talking about. And the same way they can be sacked. If our ministers are not secured, who is going to be secured? Come to the permanent secretaries, the same. Though it is in consultation with Public Service Commission. So these are the type of empowerment that we want to. And this was adequately captured in the 2020. That was a people-centered constitution. But it was unfortunate we came with the 2024 draft where we are saying, in fact, the powers that is given to the presidency should be increased. Where the supreme oversight institution, that's the parliament, you are even taking some powers from them. And in fact, for a country to be very vibrant, I think the parliament needs to be supported. It's true, our primary role is to legislate. But look at the type of almost 99.9% of the bills that are coming are all executive bills. Private member bills, you find it difficult, or committee bills. But it would have been easy for us to go into, allow this to go to a committee, to a portfolio committee that will independently identify their stakeholders, to engage them and take them through the provisions. Then from there, the report we debated and we go into committee of consideration. But going into the committee of consideration, this is where we have a problem, because that trust is not there. And it's an issue. But even if you look at it, for example, you talk about the election bill. That is not a private member bill. It's not a government bill. It's not a committee bill, but it's a government bill. And it was drafted by MOJ in consultation with the IEC. Upon completion, they reported. They look at all the provisions, they are comfortable with it, and it was brought to the parliament. To the portfolio committee, they also identify their stakeholders, and they were comfortable with it. Only to our dismay, to come to this parliament, section 14 was expunged. Seriously, because they believe that that is favoring diaspora voting. Why should we? So these are some of the things that we look at it. And in fact, even the anti-corruption bill, unexplained wealth has been expunged. So we are not very much comfortable going with this to the committee of consideration. And that is why we still believe that constitutional building is not easy, but if this fails, let's try another. But I want to advise the parliament, let's look at very well the section 22 sub 2, section 226 sub 2B. Even whereas it's entrenched, let's do everything humanly possible to see how do we remove that so that we can have a smooth sailing when it comes to constitutional building. But the threshold is very high and it is making things very difficult. If we remove that, I think we'll be able to have a constitution. It's not possible for everybody to agree on every provision. There must be a divergent view. And I believe in the 2020, we have very limited issues that were major one. One
is the retroactivity of the presidential term, and which was not well explained. And two, we have the judiciary remuneration, maybe, and secularism. And this can be, I think this can be fine-tuned at the Committee of Consideration. But we did everything humanly possible. We spoke, we debated, making all type of consultation, radio programs, but to no avail. It was rejected. The same executive chose these people to go and reject it. So it's very unfortunate. And that is why, as far as we are concerned, because there is an issue of trust as far as the Committee of Consideration is concerned. So we definitely want to push this out and look for another alternative, starting with to look at how do we remove section 226 sub 2b, because that is the stumbling block for a constitutional development. That has to be. If it whereas it will warrant us to go for a referendum to make sure that that is expunged from the system. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I thank you and I beg to sit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Brikama South. I now invite the Honorable Member for Talinding Kunja.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I am very happy to take part, to be present, alive and healthy, to take part in this journey of our nation. Now, sometimes I'm very embarrassed when politicians, ministers included, and elected people refer in their argument, this is beyond partisan politics. I'm very embarrassed because politics is the product of democratization. Politics comes from democratization. It's the vehicle that people use to have representation. At the national level to elect a president, at the constituency level to elect National Assembly members, so that their voices can be heard through those people, through the president, through the National Assembly member, and even through councillors and mayors. Now, if people say rise beyond partisan politics, I don't understand. Is it political parties as institutions? They have an objective different from development of the country? Is that what you are telling us? Then you have to leave this place. Because the people who created democracy believe that democracy is a tool for development and it's a place for honest people. Yes. It's not a place for crook people, it's not a place for thieves. So because if you project politics like that, it seems as if I feel bad that I look myself as a bad person. Politics is a decent and noble profession to be manned by people who are going to serve the interests of their people. Every government, every political institution should be anchored on ideologies and policies and programs that you want to emancipate your people from underdevelopment. Now, if political parties are...
Point of order. Point of order. Yes, Honorable Speaker, point of order. On section 29, clause 29, sub 1, every member shall restrict his or her observations to the subject under discussion. I think the member is going out of context. We are discussing about the merits and principles of a constitution. Okay? And I think he has to restrict himself within that and not to talk about politicians.
But where has he gone out of it?
Honorable Speaker, he is talking about politicians. We are not talking about that. We are talking about constitution.
Honorable members, can we listen, please? Yet,
I'm saying we are talking about the merits and principles of a constitution. That is what we are talking about, and not politicians. That's what I'm saying. Let him go directly into the merits and principles of the constitution.
Honorable, that becomes very difficult. You know, when you are talking about the merits and principles of a whole constitution, that is the supreme law of the land. That's what's going to govern everybody. What we will avoid doing is to go into the details of the constitutional provisions, which we should wait until at the committee of the whole house. But as we speak now, anything that deals with the principles and merits of the constitution, politicians' participation, how they see it, I think that should be part of it. Or if you want to delete that, then you're narrowing the debate for members to express themselves. Honorable Member for Talining, can you continue?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this was not even part of my shortlist because it was raised by the mover of the motion itself and few members dilated on it. So it's part and parcel of the debate because thank you very much. So to move on, I think because even the cabinet itself is a political entity because it comprises of people from different political backgrounds. It's a multi-partisan cabinet as it is now. So the document they produce is a political document. This bill cannot be outside a political document. So what lens do you want us to see it? Exactly. Because it's based on the programs of the existing government, what they want for the people of the Gambia. The opposite side will also have a different ideology, different view. We debate on that. So you are now saying those people are politicians, you are the real one. That's not, it's not a realistic statement. We should rise above that mediocrity and look, respect. If you don't give dignity to this house, people outside will look at us with disrespect. Because ministers themselves, MPs themselves, don't see themselves as they are in the right field. The avenue that can give people render development to the people. So we choose democracy, not dictatorship. We choose democracy, not monarchy. And democracy sets these things. Even the parliament is a democratic institution. So I advise us to watch our words so that people don't look down on us. This is not partisan politics. This is at the heart of the development of this country. The mover also mentioned that let us not repeat the mistake that was made in the past. That is the rejection of the 2020. Now, before even the election of that, the voting of that bill, the whole cabinet went on a rampage that there are provisions in that bill that targeted the presidency. There are provisions in that bill that are designed to attack the presidency. Presidential advisors, party mahopis, the whole Gambia had them. 18 people from the parliament here voted against that constitution. Now you stand here and say it's a mistake. Can you tell me how it is a mistake? Those ministers mislead the country, and those 18 mislead the country. Can you please explain how is a mistake? If it is a mistake and you now regret, what is stopping the executive to bring back that 2020? And now give your majority camp the provisions you think they are right for amendment. No need to tamper with it if you believe it's a mistake. Let it come back untouched. And any other amendment you propose, give it to your majority side. We come here, we debate on it, we go through all the processes. Why tamper with it before it comes here? So the issue is even not tampering with it. Apart from the interpretation part, the previous one contains 288, excluding the interpretation. The amendment to it is 124. Now look at that, that's almost 50. And even in the preamble, Mr. Speaker, I will read this preamble. Preamble paragraph 2. Being committed to freedom, justice, accountable government, overall respect for the rule of law, recognize and affirm the principles that all power vests in and emanate only from the sovereign will of the people, which shall be respected at all times. This is what the preamble is saying. Sovereign will of the people. They went the whole country and put it there. Only cabinet sat and removed half of it. You are telling us it's going to uphold the sovereign will of the people? Which people? Which people did you represent? When we are removing 124, when we are amending 124, which people did you represent? When the preamble is saying the will of sovereign will of the people, is that not contradictory? Who are we fooling? So, but if you look at what we are changed, you begin to see why it was needed for it to change. It explains the ideology of the government. It explains what you believe. It explains whether you believe in accountability, probity, and honesty. It explains whether you want an institutions that can hold government accountable. Look at the changes that we are doing. It affects accountability issues. It affects integrity. Integrity. Now, if you remove that, what do you expect government people to trust any government that cannot uphold itself to the principles of integrity? What do you think government? What kind? Who will elect a leader and give him all the powers, and that person has no integrity? It's natural. Removing that part alone speaks what the government believes in accountability, whether it believes it or not. So we cannot be wasting Gambian people's time and waste our own time. If we mean development, we must say it, we must do it, and we must be seen to be doing it. Somebody speak. Constitution is not about term limit. Term limit. 50 plus. Term limit 50 plus 1 means nothing if he's going to concentrate too much power on the presidency that he becomes a dictator in the country. Term limits is meaningless if he does not put checks and balances that gives all the organs of government the right power they deserve in a democracy. Term limit is meaningless if people can do corruption and go scot-free. Term limit is meaningless if people cannot put their government accountable. It's meaningless. I cannot come here because term limit is not going to put bread and butter in people's basket. No. There are people that don't have term limit. They are moving. Every time you speak here, we cite Rwanda as an example. They don't have term limit. They don't have term limit. You cannot sell this bill just because of term limit and 50 plus 1. And then when people elect leaders, we don't have a framework, legal framework to hold them accountable. Look at even the impeachment of the president. Abuse of power is removed as a phrase. It's there. Look at it. Abuse of power. So now, if you say, how can you hold up president for abuse of power? How can you sue government for abuse of power? It's deliberately removed. Look at it and compare. You all have it. Impeachment. And it's a very fundamental issue. How many times have we cried about that here? So even National Assembly's power itself has been reduced to nothing. So let's be very careful. We are making, somebody make here, let us not be conscience. And who said there is no provision here that says this is for honorable member for Kiang? So how can somebody stand and say that we should not be personal? Who is personal here? There is no clause that says this is going to protect Honorable Musa Abaji. No. Everything has to do with Gambians. So when we talk about people we represent. So if you talk about, somebody mentioned the executive has powers to bring laws. We don't dispute that. But the law also, the constitution does not say we have to swallow it whole line and sinker. We have to do the needful. We have to do our job. So that to align what is in there with the aspirations and wishes of the people. So it's very important we look at it holistically. Now, with regards to member of Wuli S, even gave us a very good example when he mentioned that the junta, this 97 constitution, they went around and came and butchered it. This government went around and came and butchered it. Now, Wuli S, what is the difference? What's the difference? It's the same. What the junta did is what they no, I didn't observe you. Allow me, I have got on my table. I'm not observing you.
No, Karen,
no.
Don't just stop talking.
So the issue. Wuli is. It's okay. It's very important. It's very important. When we speak because we want to the best for our people. And also, when you speak, don't make yourself the saint and make the others the evil. How can you say people are speaking because their campaigns are funded with people? Who? Tell us the person. If you believe you have the right sources to fund your campaign, you did so. Why would you say other members are supporting it because they have people who are funding their campaign? That's blunt accusation.
Exactly.
It's incorrect.
It's inaccurate.
Honorable Speaker, constitution of any country is an embodiment of the wills and aspirations of these people. And all these things are anchored on, because we say we are democracy. Democracy has principles. So when the constitution is devoid of these principles, we will against it with all our might and energy. We will do so. We are not in a haste. Gradually, Gambia must have a document that is befitting. If you are comfortable to use the document, and even the provisions of 1997, there are issues that the sitting government is flirting with continuously. Every time people are challenging the government to court. So you cannot say a champion of democracy when the constitution you want to change, that you describe as a product of dictatorship. You are using some of those things that are there to muzzle the press, to trample on people's rights, and now you are saying you want, by bringing new constitution, you are championing. How? So for me, we have to speak and let people hear us, because constitution is for every Gambian. So when we reject it based on these facts. And we want Gambian people to understand that this constitution is not in the best of their interest. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Talending Kunyang. Honorable members, when we have our list, I will want to go and finish the list. By the time I'm on the last speaker, more people will raise. When I go up to the last person, but you are lucky, if I had gone to the last person, I was going to call the mover of the motion. We still have some new names coming in. So what we will do now is probably we are going to adjourn. We are going to suspend the sittings until to go for lunch and prayers. How long do we take, honorable minority and majority leaders? Minority, majority, where's majority? Yes, how long?
1 hour, 1 hour is fine. 1 hour, 1 hour.
1 hour. Minority? Okay, we are, it looks like your leaders are saying 1 hour. So,
Honorable Speaker, it's too much.
Honorable members, the time now by my watch, is 14:43. When do we come back? We come back by 1/2. Minority?
2:45. 45 now. 15:45. Yes. Yes.
So, honorable members, the House is suspended until 15:45 when we will back to continue.